When this guy just awakened and already unlocked a legendary skill, now he can finally show off the ultimate power of 11 straight years of virgin gaming. When the apocalypse started, he rushed to grab rare magical items, but when he arrived at the secret vault, he was already too late. The party had started. Just 5 minutes ago, Yuri and her 80-year-old sidekick beat him to it. A pack of scavengers showed up to steal the magic items now that the world had turned to chaos. Everyone was fighting over the loot. Suddenly, some loudmouth shouted, telling everyone to stand down. This grabbed their attention. He claimed he was taking everything, but obviously they ignored him. But once he unleashed his awakened ability to prove his dominance, the old man revealed an even stronger power, turning him to charcoal instantly. No mercy, talk about arrogance, the old man muttered, right after Yuri boldly announced to everyone there that every single magical item in the entire tower belonged to her and Grandpa. Does anyone have a problem with that? Step up and fight. That is when Jinhyuk walked past, totally ignoring her. He only cared about the magical items. What did you do? You almost ruined it. She muttered, totally unimpressed. Annoyed by his attitude, Yuri ordered her summoned Anubis Guardian to attack. A single blow from this beast is strictly fatal, but when that lethal spear lunged forward, Jinhyuk easily swatted it aside with a basic punch. That strike should have shattered concrete, so how on earth? Yuri's jaw dropped. Everyone was stunned. None of them knew Jinhyuk's secret identity. In fact, he even rated her attack a solid 5 out of 10. Furious, Yuri brought out 4 more statues to summon reinforcements. Jinhyuk pretended to be deeply impressed, though his face showed absolutely zero shock or terror. Yuri realized her intimidation tactic failed miserably, and it made no sense. These massive, deadly guardians should terrify anyone, but then Jinhyuk calmly spoke up. Her abilities are decent, and her grandfather is clearly no pushover, but compared to his own power, they are completely outmatched. Yuri snapped that she hated his smug, arrogant attitude. Jinhyuk asked what the real difference was between being arrogant and just knowing exactly what you are capable of, to prove his point was completely valid. Jinhyuk unleashed the power of the ancient summoner amulet he had just found. Since she wanted a summoning battle, he decided to show her a truly legendary beast. Soon, the mountain god tiger materialized to crush them, and absolute terror gripped Yuri. That beast easily swallowed her summons like they were nothing but light snacks, fearing she was about to be turned into a side of fries, for that tiger burger left her completely hopeless. Was this the end? Dying completely helpless, but when Jinhyuk strolled over with a smirk on his face, the situation shifted entirely. He announced that play time was over and demanded her prize. Yuri defensively covered herself and flatly refused to hand anything over, but Jinhyuk simply leaned down, clarifying he only wanted the Tutankhamun mask artifact. Yuri looked incredibly annoyed, and honestly it is hard to tell if she was mad about the mask or because he ignored her other assets. Jinhyuk calmly stared her down as she hesitated, giving her a warning. Obey and she avoids becoming tiger food. She really had no other options left. It was far better to survive now and seek revenge later. Yuri asked if he was looking for the map of the eastern lands, but Jinhyuk only smiled. Tiger keeps a sharp eye on guard duty. Anyone trying to follow them is dead meat. But there is a secret none of them know. Jinhyuk is not like these people. Just a few hours ago, our protagonist was nothing more than an ordinary guy. He spent countless hours every single day locked away and gaming on his computer. The game he spent 11 years grinding to conquer was no walk in the park. It was brutally difficult, filled with invincible bosses, massive maps, and insane challenges. Every other player quit out of frustration, but our dedicated protagonist, he never gave up. For 11 long years, he sweated it out and finally became the first and only player to clear the game. Right after, a live stream showed something crazy. It was happening in real time, the massive tower from the game's opening Cutscene had actually appeared in real life, right in front of everyone, a system. Screen declared they were now awakened, if no one clears this tower in 90 days. The entire human race gets completely wiped out. Naturally, almost everyone started freaking out. But where others saw a crisis, Jinhyuk saw a golden opportunity. He ran toward danger. While everyone else was fleeing, still he was not the only one. Other players recognized the game's tower and immediately headed straight toward the first event. There, he bumped into an old coworker from his streaming days. The guy immediately asked to team up, but Jinhyuk was done playing nice. He delivered a brutal headbutt, instantly knocking 2 teeth clean out of Jongsu's bloody mouth. Jinhyuk made it crystal clear they were not friends, and they certainly were not going to be allies. Honestly, Jinhyuk held all the elite game knowledge. There was absolutely zero benefit in teaming up with weaklings. The moment the event officially kicked off, a massive, towering tree sprouted right in the center. Glistening red fruits hung from its branches, and everyone was immediately drooling over them. Players swarmed the branches like they had not eaten in 10 days. 1 bite granted. +3 stat boost, but once every single fruit was gone, Jinhyuk just stood there with a smug grin. Predictably, the tree got furious that its harvest was stolen and began violently attacking everyone, while the panicked crowd scrambled for safety. Jinhyuk stood perfectly still. He asked Jongsu if he was a coward, pointing out that the true treasure only spawns once the fruits are gone, but the terrified coward did not believe him, though he knew Jinhyuk spent 11 years playing this. The guy proposed a quick alliance so they could escape together, move out. But the moment they ran, that backstabber stopped and yelled that this was revenge for trusting him, actively trying to screw Jinhyuk over right then and there. Jinhyuk easily dodged the sudden strike. The razor-sharp branch missed him completely, heading straight for Jongsu instead, tightly wrapping him up in a very familiar position, reminiscent of some questionable tentacle anime. As Jongsu begged for help, Jinhyuk merely grinned and thanked him for acting as the perfect bait. Now, the main target is the mangrove heart, and Jinhyuk knew the way. Too bad his decoy could barely hold the monster's attention for more than a few seconds. Jinhyuk grabbed a heavy broken branch to use as a weapon, relying on his sharp skills. He parried and dodged his way directly to the prize. When he grabbed the core, the massive beast withered and died instantly. Inside, he found a precious, glowing gem with stats far superior to any of the fruits. Crushing it granted 12 attribute points to freely allocate. With his new stats properly assigned, Jinhyuk is now he is the strongest level 1 player around. Each level up grants 3 points, making 12 points basically equal to level 4 stats. Soon, news portals announced that the first mangrove of greed was finally cleared. A video of this feat will go online in 10 minutes, instantly breaking the internet. Everyone is talking about it all over the web. Almost all the comments express deep suspicion, claiming he either got lucky or cheated. Once the video drops online, the doubtful reactions only intensify. Seeing the protagonist's blurred face, shocked viewers wonder if he hacked the game. The doubts are relentless, even if they are relatively minor. Meanwhile, on his main account, several organizations offer major sponsorships. Even though he knows the mangrove is hard to beat at level 1, he never expected this. It is a massive wave of sudden shock. Played the game's final stages, Kang is stunned to receive proposals of 1 billion won to collaborate with others. He has lived a brutally difficult life. Earning enough money just to survive was always a constant struggle. Paying rent was always tough, and he starved to save stream money. He literally streamed himself eating just to survive. If he had received golden opportunities before, he would have accepted without hesitation, but now he refuses to sell his valuable secrets, not for 1 billion or even 10 billion won. For him, keeping a monopoly on information is the priority. This leads him straight into his next highly dangerous destination. The moment the game launched, mana leaked from the tower, spreading across Seoul. It did not do much, but the replicas suddenly became worshipped. Of course, all of those celebrated artifacts were fakes. These were merely copies. He plans to go where he can acquire more of these replicas. The National Museum of Korea is essentially treasure chest storing countless valuable items. Naturally, he is not the only one targeting these replicas. Unlike the tree which appeared in 7 locations, there is only one museum. People will gather from everywhere, searching for these sacred artifacts. Among them will be players who were once ranked and even professionals. He enters the area, noting it is quieter than he imagined. As expected, someone arrived first, and trust me, they paid the price. That person's body is now fried and smoking black on the floor. Kang knew people would adapt quickly to this changing world. Yet reality is different, and some become incredibly formidable in a day. What everyone is targeting is a relic in the medieval gallery. It is the great map of the Eastern land, and it is certainly not a simple map of Korea. This great map is imbued with magical energy containing information about the Tower of Trials that everyone seeks. It reveals the locations of hidden labyrinths and ruins, explaining the monsters found inside each. That is exactly why everyone wants it, even though its information only extends only up to the 10th floor. It easily ignites human ambition. This makes them desire this legendary relic above all else. Consequently, they will overlook the truly important artifacts hidden in the mud. Right at that moment, Kang finally reaches the area where Yuri and he easily wiped out the girl and is already making his way to the next level. Kang has finished his preparations and now aims to claim the ultimate tower skill. Making his way down from the 2nd to the 3rd floor, the elder spots an artifact. He looks at it in confusion, deeply worried about what happened to Yuri. How did that mysterious stranger even get down here, and did he actually beat Lee? Meanwhile, Kang immediately recognizes the level 1 barrier, blocking their path forward. The elder admits he has never seen this kind of magic ward before. Still, he knows for a fact that physical and magical attacks are completely useless here. Searching for a way through, our hero tracks where the monoflow energy splits apart. There is indeed a method to break this seal, but it comes with a strict condition. He asks the old man to blast the shield continuously with fire magic to weaken it. Kang instructs him to keep it up until he sneaks inside and retrieves the relics. Hearing this, the old man realizes he has to channel his magic without stopping. As the young man heads inside, the elder weighs the risks of this partnership. Kang knows he absolutely cannot afford to make an enemy of a high-ranking mage. On the other hand, the old man decides he has no choice but to trust the kid. The elder declares that he will put his faith in him, and the boy smiles. Kang responds, asking his elder companion to look after him for a bit. Nodding, the old man promises to do his best and gathers blazing fire in his hands. He hammers the shield with endless fire spells while our hero waits for his chance. Spotting a split-second gap in the barrier, he prepares to make his move. Once inside, our hero realizes someone got here first, just like on the previous floors. Sure enough, the iron sword with Channel Long written on the sheath is already gone. It was stolen by a mysterious traveler who completed his objective and quickly cleared out. He is also completely certain that this very person set up the barrier outside. The intruder likely planned to lock down the area after securing his prize. Kang notices a pattern. These guys avoid fighting directly to minimize any risks. Fortunately, the thief had no idea that Kang picked up a discarded second-hand relic. He then retrieves the Yangyang Tongbo, a critical artifact left behind in the dust. This item holds a unique inherent ability, acting as the final puzzle piece. Combined with the right ingredients, it will unlock an incredibly overpowered skill. These key components include the Persian ceremonial mold and his other treasures. Now all 3 artifacts begin to resonate powerfully right before his eyes. Suddenly, the game system flashes to life with an unexpected notification. Against all odds, he has successfully fused the three relics together. He obtains a double S-rank relic known as the Eye of Truth. This legendary tool lets him read anyone's status window and instantly detect lies. It reigns supreme as the absolute best among the 5 legendary eyes of this world. Another massive goal that drove Kang down here was a hidden quest. By combining 3 replicas to craft an S-rank item, he unlocks a brand new power. He gains the broken inherent ability of fusion, allowing him to copy skills. He can now copy and merge various abilities to create entirely new dimensions of power. Even if a skill is too difficult to copy, the system will adapt it. Back at the barrier, the elder gasps, warning that he cannot hold much longer. He urges the boy to return quickly, while Kang Jinhyuk considers copying his power. Jinhyuk analyzed Min Youngwoo's abilities and planned his next move. The copy condition required making him reveal his true feelings from behind his mask. He just needed to irritate Min Youngwoo, and when the old man snapped to hurry up, Jinhyuk simply told him to stop using his ability, leaving the elder completely confused, as Jinhyuk stated. There was absolutely no longer any reason to keep doing so. The old man was shocked and demanded to know why he was asked to use them. Next, Jinhyuk used the word carpo to dismantle the barrier. It was easy to break it, provided they spoke in Latin, a detail Jinhyuk already knew. However, the old man actually did absolutely nothing to help him. Jinhyuk muttered the word in a low voice. There was no use attacking relentlessly if the strikes could not even pierce the barrier. It was just a waste of magic. Now he knew the elder's mana was completely drained, and his next move was to make him furious. He already knew everything inside the tower. So the map containing information only up to the 10th floor was completely useless to Jinhyuk. Still, he was not about to give up that precious data easily. While Min Youngwoo wondered in absolute disbelief what on earth he was doing, Jinhyuk had already made his intentions clear. He did not need the map, so he was about to set it completely ablaze with a lighter, since other players might gain access to those 10 floors by finding the map. He burned the whole thing. Talk about a heart-stopping moment. The old man watches in absolute shock as the flames devour the precious map. To secure his light, he had to eliminate any chance that rivals could ever learn about those 10 floors. This made Min Youngwoo absolutely furious about the destroyed map, and he began to threaten our protagonist. This reaction was exactly what Jinhyuk needed to copy the old man's abilities. He successfully copied the B-rank fire element ability. He stored this copied ability within the world's memories, giving him absolute, direct control over fire. His elemental affinity spiked. This flame is only his first copy. Min Youngwoo snarled that the young man would deeply regret this, preparing to unleash a brutal attack. As the old man's level 1 fire element flares up, Jinhyuk remains unfazed. He calmly explains why he burned the map, suddenly unleashing his own matching, roaring flames. This left the elder completely stunned, realizing the magic skill was identical to his own. In fact, Jinhyuk's fire was even stronger. This guy is definitely not normal. He did not even need the map, leaving the old man wondering who he really was. Jinhyuk warned him that if he wanted to climb the tower peacefully, he should listen closely. At the museum, 4 veterans emerged together, with Jinhyuk observing each one of them. They were the elder, a young girl, and 1 mystery player. Jinhyuk understood they wanted to minimize risks now that their world became a tower of trials. However, he could not shake the feeling that they were trying to get ahead of him. Knowing this threat, his absolute priority was to acquire every single unique ability he could find. He told the elder he would contact him soon with a request. He demanded that both the old man and the girl downstairs level up as fast as possible. This way, he would have useful chess pieces to manipulate on his long journey ahead. To succeed in this unforgiving world, he needed to hoard an immense number of top-tier skills. Since he only had 1 body, mastering every single talent is impossible. Even so, he was determined to secure only the absolute strongest powers for himself. Suddenly, intense hunger and fatigue hit him, forcing him to stop at a restaurant for food. He hears a grim report on television. 23 people are dead and 50 injured at the National Museum of Korea, with many in critical condition and the body count rising. Beyond Korea, identical terrifying incidents are breaking out. Across the United States, Europe, and Japan, just as Jinhyuk expected, other players worldwide are doing whatever they can to scale the tower, a reporter reviews. The security cameras inside the museum, which captured the brutal fight between Anubis and Jinhyuk's summoned mountain tiger. Nobody wants to believe these images, but they are unfortunately very real. The customers inside the restaurant cannot believe a regular human could possess such insane strength. They realize he is the same warrior who defeated the swamp creature. Seeing his identical physical movements, Jinhyuk realizes he must conceal his identity better before he gets exposed entirely. Meanwhile, the government launches an urgent investigation into the mysterious structure they call the Tower of Trials, rapidly establishing the Awakened Association. They gather highly skilled veterans with diverse supernatural abilities. The state response in setting up this group was way faster than Jinhyuk anticipated, since they already put together a guild. Packed with powerful, awakened players, he expects them to be quite flexible. He never expected them to organize so rapidly. Right then, a television broadcast from the Special Department of Awakened Individuals begins. A man in a sharp suit, named Han Sang-jin, is introduced as the head of this brand new association. He wants to recruit elite members, promising a starting salary of 60 million won, along with an official government post. However, this massive offer excludes the masked player from the museum footage. Han Sang-jin promises that if Jinhyuk joins the association, the government will grant him absolutely whatever he desires. Normal people comment online that they are deeply envious. Watching this, our main character realizes the broadcast is a trap targeting him. They want to use him as a mere tool. No matter what they offer, he refuses to join them. In this world, the value of one top-tier player is far greater than 100 average people. Han Sang-jin knows this truth, which is why he offers Jinhyuk a blank check to persuade him. Han Sang-jin was chosen as president because he has the perfect skill set for the job, or maybe he has simply accumulated more experience surviving inside the Tower of Trials. Jinhyuk quietly hopes Han Sang-jin has a powerful ability, since it would be pretty fun to copy it. Glancing at the wall, he sees it is 7 p.m. Once the clock strikes 9, the Tower of Trials will open. Right on schedule, the gates open. Crowds of excited new players surge inside the lobby, completely mesmerized by the majestic, magical scenery. It looks exactly like the legendary virtual game they all used to play. Our experienced protagonist, however, knows these rookies are just easily impressed amateurs. As a welcoming gift for entering, everyone receives 100 starting coins. This special currency can only be spent inside the tower itself. Players can also publish videos of their achievements, earning another 100 coins for every 10,000 views. However, there is a premium charge to view content depending on the publisher's status. Any player in the tower who clicks on these clips will have their first 10,000 views counted. Therefore, they must be careful when choosing what to watch. The live streaming feature, for example, will only unlock once they face the terrifying boss of the upcoming floor. In addition, if rigging views or cheating inside the system is strictly forbidden, violators face brutal punishment. But there is a twist. A link connects tower climbers directly with the outside world. Spectators can stream the players most likely to conquer the summit, pushing those streamers to the top of the tower ranking system. More fame means more cold hard coins. It is a gold rush. Right now, players are scrambling toward the Goblin Cave. They are in a massive hurry to get ahead of the pack. But for Kang Jinhyuk, getting rich is easy because he knows every single secret. Even so, he has absolutely no interest in streaming right now. Uploading videos, no thanks, he will not rely on views to get rich. Leaking his priceless hidden knowledge to the public would be a massive strategic mistake. In his past life, clearing the first 30 floors was hell. He hit a massive wall, he simply could not progress. Advancing meant he had to turn back and search for hidden items downstairs. That meant retracing every single one of his past steps. Finally, he uncovered the answer hidden deep inside some forgotten ruins. And that was when he realized something terrible. His build was fundamentally flawed. Years of hard work, all wasted on garbage. The realization was physically painful. He almost deleted everything, despite pouring years of his life into it. Talk about a nightmare scenario, but fast forward 6 years to the present day. Our main character stands right outside a dangerous B-rank labyrinth. Designed by Daedalus in Cree, it is notorious for lethal traps and confusing paths. Clearing the 30th floor requires an unbreakable foundation, which starts right here. He never expected to run this place again, and honestly, it bugs him. Even so, a strange wave of nostalgia hits him the moment he pushes open the massive doors. Inside lies a majestic hall, overflowing with glowing relics and ancient treasures. Luminous blue moths flutter through the air, with one gently landing on his fingers. But then strangers step out from the shadows. "Who are you?" he demands. A seemingly friendly woman quickly speaks up, explaining they were just looking for a spot to farm. She claims the labyrinth is closing, but these players actually followed him. They tailed him 10 minutes ago, after spotting his unusual movements. The group noticed him head straight for this hidden zone without hesitation. He even opened it without a key, prompting the girl to suggest following him inside. However, her companions are pretty nervous about stepping into such a dangerous place. Hoping to ease the tension, she asks him why they don't team up. "We can clear this together and split the rewards," she suggests. But Kang Jinhyuk immediately sees right through her sweet words and fake proposal. Sensing she is the lighter, he activates his Eye of Truth to scan her. She introduces herself as Park Hannah, claiming to be 22 years old, and she only reached the 2nd floor of the Tower of Trials, but before believing her, he notes she is only level 1. At the same time, he also notices her quite unique skill, Communion. Naturally, she can win over complete strangers, completely erasing their guard and hostility. He can befriend anyone, even total strangers, a skill that completely erases emotions. Copying her unique Communion skill comes with a catch, as he quietly notes. He must stick with her for 240 hours in absolute isolation. Kang Jinhyuk knows this high-tier skill is going to be incredibly useful later. It is perfect for handling future threats. Nearby, Jang Kolik begins introducing himself. Apparently, he quit after barely surviving the 1st floor. 2 girls join in, bragging about hitting the 1st and 3rd floors. Then 2 other boys admit they are total beginners to this tower. Standing by, Kang Jinhyuk introduces himself with a perfectly pleasant smile. He already knows they will try to leech off him, so why bother? He does not even waste energy remembering their names. Meanwhile, Park Hannah approaches. She sweetly asks about his past record while stepping in way too close. Grabbing his arm, she instantly activates her unique mind control ability. A sudden wave of intense affection washes over him, but he resists. Had he been a regular rookie, he would have fallen completely under her spell. Shrugging it off, he simply says he went as high as possible before. Park Hannah is baffled since her charm magic is showing absolutely no effect. Trying to test him, she demands details on the labyrinth and its deadly monsters. Calmly, Kang Jinhyuk drops a bomb. This dungeon shifts at regular intervals. The terrifying news sends a wave of pure panic through the entire group. The terrified girl screams, "Is this not supposed to be a basic 1st floor dungeon?" Right on cue, the trap triggers as massive walls and stones start grinding together. A lethal block of solid stone hurtles straight toward Park Hannah, barely missing her. "Run," someone screams out. "Get moving, or you will be crushed to death." They scramble frantically. Fortunately, the crushing stones finally stop. Panic sets in because they expected an easy walkthrough with zero real dangers. Kang Jinhyuk scoffs, asking if they have never seen a shifting labyrinth before. Park Hannah snaps back. This trap-filled zone is way too lethal for beginners. They need to find a way out immediately before they all get crushed. She desperately asks her companion to guide them using her navigation skill. Terrified, her friend whimpers that her pathfinding skill was instantly cancelled. They are completely trapped, lost. Our hero just watches them in silence. He was wondering why these weaklings walked into danger so confidently. It turns out they were blindly relying on one basic navigation trick. He ignores the crying. He knows a much bigger threat is coming. Suddenly, Park Hannah screams at him, demanding to know why he hid this. She is absolutely furious, blaming him for keeping the shifting walls a secret. Since some of them got hurt, they shamelessly try to blame him. Kang Jinhyuk lets out a heavy sigh, asking if he ever forced them. His tone turns cold as he reminds them they followed him on purpose. He did not drag anyone here, yet they are demanding answers like fools. Enraged, one of the hot-headed rookies draws his sword to strike him down. He sneers, shouting that he hated our protagonist from the very first second. Before he can take another step, a brutal, blinding punch cuts him short. The boy is sent flying through the air, leaving the others sobbing. Amid the tears, a monstrous shadow finally emerges from the deep darkness. The Minotaur itself charges aggressively toward the boys, its axe previously embedded in the wall flies directly back into its hand. The beast roars. Park Hannah thinks they are all dead, but Kang Jinhyuk orders everyone to get out of the way, charging straight toward the beast. The others watch in disbelief as he runs straight into the danger zone. When the massive axe slams hard into the dirt, our hero easily dodges the blow, leaping high into the air to match its height. A shallow cut grazes his shoulder, triggering a brand new system alert. He unlocks the evasion attribute, which actually shrinks level gaps against bosses. It even widens his advantage against weaker enemies. This zero-gap skill slashes the level difference by 3 whole attribute points per tier. Now armed with this broken new buff, he moves in fast. Vaulting off the beast's giant horn, he lands smoothly back on the ground. He knows this high-risk strategy is his ticket to power, even at level 1. It is a method perfected through thousands of brutal runs in the past. The red-eyed monster lunges at him with pure fury, but he has memorized these exact attacks tens of thousands of times before. He slips past the blade cleanly, boosting his zero-gap attribute by 0.5. His muscles remember every single attack pattern, widening his advantage with every step. With every wild swing he avoids, that crucial stat just keeps climbing higher. He is playing like a seasoned veteran, casually leaping right over the deadly steel. No matter how destructive an attack is, it means nothing if it misses completely. The rookies watch in sheer terror, instantly regretting ever wanting to pick a fight with him. They would have been absolutely crushed. Hannah realizes how insane their plan was, trying to kill him and steal his loot. Looking at the raging beast, she trembles at her own sheer stupidity. He mockingly calls the monster slow, claiming it will never land a hit. The insult makes the beast roar in fury, swinging its massive axe again. Kang Jinhyuk knows that farming stats quickly is actually pretty simple. He just has to constantly flirt with death, letting the blade graze his throat. The closer he comes to dying, the more insane the system rewards get. By dodging that lethal blow, his gap attribute level jumps up by 1. Trading a few minor cuts for stat boosts is a pretty sweet deal. But a single slip-up means instant death. Suddenly, he spots the rookies fleeing. Park Hannah frantically searches the surrounding stone walls for any hidden exit. Out of nowhere, our hero quietly materializes right behind her. He asks where they are going, startling her as he suggests a crazy idea. Instead, he urges them all to dodge attacks to boost stats. Dodging these lethal blows is the only way to unlock those secret attributes. He mockingly claims he is just being generous by sharing this great tip. Suddenly, the enraged Minotaur charges, ready to grind them all to dust. Hannah bursts into tears as the flying axe completely demolishes the wall nearby. He sighs, asking why they just stood there instead of ducking for cover. Keeping distance is basic survival, and that hesitation just cost someone their life. Yet he stands totally unfazed, suddenly noticing something strange about the walls. Quickly shifting his position, Jinhyuk flees the scene and bids farewell to the beast. The Minotaur is left trapped behind the shifting walls of the labyrinth. Absolutely enraged by Jinhyuk's cheap tricks, the beast immediately charges. Axe slams the stone, pure fury. The survivors are completely frozen. Barely alive, terrified, they desperately ask if the fight is finally over. Jinhyuk calmly explains that their deadly pursuer is not done yet. The Minotaur is locked onto the residue of those glowing moths. It will hunt them. Park Hannah asks why he is being so insane. He shrugs, he is simply doing this to boost his stats. They can rest while the maze shifts, but his game is far from over. Toying with it, just a game, until the monster breaks through. Park Hannah asks how long they are supposed to run and dodge these attacks. Jinhyuk gives a casual reply, they just need to survive. They must run until they escape, which takes about 30 long days. 30 days, a total nightmare. The rookies freeze in pure horror. Leaving his side means safety, but it also means 0 experience points for them. Jinhyuk turns the question around, asking which path they actually plan on taking. Wandering blindly in this deadly maze is practically a death sentence. The newbies ask if he knows the way out, and he confidently nods. Park Hannah realizes they stand absolutely 0 chance of escaping on their own. No options left, she has to step up and follow him. But Jinhyuk stops her cold, nothing in this world is free. He points his sword straight at her face, demanding every single one of her coins. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the tower, other players are struggling against goblins. One veteran player is currently live-streaming his run to a massive audience. He has been grinding solo for 15 hours straight, gaining insane popularity. Wearing a red headband, the streamer smiles as the viewers flood his chat. Gaming forums are completely buzzing about Munin and his aggressive fighting style. He quietly thanks his hidden support team for putting in the work. His stream was edited perfectly to hide the buffs they gave him. Then a nasty comment hits, someone cleared the dungeon much faster. They say it only took 5 hours. Mayin brushes it off as typical haters. He stays calm, but a shocking new video suddenly storms into the Hall of Fame. This instantly pushes their own livestream rankings straight into the dirt. This legendary new upload features the first player to ever reach a +10 refinement. Juan cannot believe his eyes as Jinhyuk's video completely dominates the charts. Believe it or not, 10 minutes ago, he was just ordering his group around. He had them collecting moss for beds and gathering wood for a basic bonfire. The rookies reluctantly obey, while Jinhyuk quietly opens the coin shop. Protecting his wealth is key, so he purchases 3 enchanted tarot cards. He also grabs a worn key, wagon pieces, and 10 cheap refinement scrolls. Most players would call this garbage, but he eagerly completes the purchase. The real secret lies in knowing exactly how to combine them. Jinhyuk fuses the 3 items together, triggering a brilliant flash of success. He has created the legendary Wheel of Fortune, carrying the Goddess of Luck. An S-level item that boosts his luck for 10 minutes. After the fusion, he knows that luck has a strict limit. Normal people would never realize the value of luck without knowing those boundaries, but he knows exactly what those limits are since he remembers every detail from his past life. Using the Wheel of Fortune, he maxes out his luck. He already knows the success. Rate for refining scrolls is incredibly low. They might have the worst possible. Upgrade chances, but with maximum luck, the rate becomes 100%. He decides to dump everything into his dagger and the upgrade succeeds. Just like that, he manages to upgrade his rusty dagger to +10, the absolute maximum level. Even better, he hits a bonus achievement by being the very first to craft a +10 upgraded weapon on the entire Korean server. This achievement is blasted on the Hall of Fame for a whole day, earning him 5,000 coins. At last, he has a weapon truly worth using, his new purple dagger. On their 10th day inside the labyrinth, they manage to light a bonfire with some gathered wood and a dry moss bed, with nothing to eat except wild mushrooms and moss, while the main character sleeps peacefully on a moss bed right by the fire. His party is on edge because a minotaur has been relentlessly hunting them since day one. The shifting maze constantly changes, separating life from death. They are incredibly annoyed with the hero because he acts like none of this is a big deal. If this keeps going, they will not survive much longer, and they expect Kang to abandon them. Anonymous stream viewers ask why they do not just give up and stay put. They claim the guy leading them is an experienced player and a total psychopath. On the stream, Park asks the chat if anyone has more information about him. A viewer replies that they cannot find any old videos of him anywhere. Apparently, all of his past online clips have been completely blocked. When searching for Kungjin Hayak, no personal channels show up at all. The viewers do not think he cares about subscribers at all. He just loves playing solo like a madman. Meanwhile, the party wishes they knew the exact strategies and locations of those divine relics. Park cannot believe they are trying to get advice from clueless internet trolls outside the tower. He snaps at them to shut up before asking what the Raven Guild had to say about their current situation. A viewer replies that the guild is investigating but has zero details about the labyrinth. They will need 3 more weeks to reach them, leaving Hannah feeling completely desperate. Realizing she will be stuck in this shifting maze for another 3 weeks, she whispers to her friend that they have absolutely no idea what to do next. In desperation, Hannah reveals her dark plan: kill Kang and take over the stone chamber they found until A arrives. That way, they can escape the area safely, but the real problem is taking him down. Just then, her friend picks up a heavy stone, calling it their perfect chance since Jin is fast asleep. They must strike now, since a shattered head means instant elimination. But Hannah quickly grabs her friend's hand, warning him that Jin's reaction speed is too insane, and they stand no chance in a direct fight. He will wake up the second they move and launch a deadly counterattack. Her terrified friend drops the stone, desperately asking what they should do next. He cannot keep suffering. Hannah promises it ends now. From the Raven Guild provided her with a weapon. It is a lethal poison. Just one single drop can melt 100 massive trolls. Taken from the stinger of a giant zucchini wasp, they will send him straight to hell. No more danger. Meanwhile, our hero wakes up completely miserable at his breakfast options. It is just more moss and mushrooms, making it look like some cheap survival show. Hannah tells him to hunt rats for meat, so Jin asks for water instead. He asks her to hand over the water bottle behind her and demands more mushrooms. They cannot believe he wants more garbage, but they plate it anyway. As he prepares to eat, Hannah holds her breath. The trap is set. He takes a bite, and the live stream chat absolutely explodes. The schemers celebrate, but suddenly, someone knocks the entire plate away. That person begins choking, frantically spitting out the food, but it is not Jin. It is actually Hannah's own friend, collapsing to the floor in agonizing pain from the poison. Jin looks down coldly. You were fools to think I would eat that. When I asked for extra mushrooms, I swapped our plates behind your backs. And by the way, plotting against me with secret messages is cheating. Pale with fear, the girl stammers that he has no proof. Too late, the chat suddenly realizes Jin knows they are broadcasting This hidden streaming function is strictly for boss fights, blocking the path to the next floor. The system issues a firm warning that false reports will lead to massive penalties. That does not stop Jin from pressing the button. Her guilty face made the secret live stream completely obvious to him. He sighs, muttering how disappointed he is in Hannah. As Jin submits the report, Hannah receives an alert. Panic sets in. System capture is complete. Her precious online anonymity is officially gone. Instantly, the illegal broadcast is exposed, and viewers get kicked out. Within seconds, her active viewer count crashes straight down to absolute zero. Every viewer is slapped with a 1-month ban from watching broadcasts. If this happens a second time, the system hands out permanent bans. Hannah loses her mind as her chat vanishes, but her own punishment. That is much worse. Right on cue, a massive minotaur stomps in. It lets out a deafening roar and charges like an angry bull. Terrified, Hannah begs him to fight or at least guide her. Jin laughs, calling her shameless for trying to poison him right before asking for help. She keeps pleading, but he is completely done playing nice. Plus, he just logged 240 hours near her. That is the exact condition needed to steal her ability. With the communion skill now copied, Jin looks at her coldly. He does not need her. She shrieks he will regret this, while awe from the Raven Guild watches. The Minotaur swings its massive axe to crush her. Luckily, both Kang and the girl manage to dodge the devastating blow. Kang wants her to watch closely and finally learn true fear. Charging forward, he leaps at the Minotaur with his boosted technique, landing a quick, shallow slash before bouncing off the wall to reset his position. Ground, Kang realizes the damage was pretty small, but it was completely worth. Shrinking that massive level gap, he knows he cannot just take down this monster. With a straightforward attack, he needs the beast to suffer a similar setback. Right then, the young warrior charges forward, ducking under an incoming blow and triggers his level 1 fire element. He unleashes a blazing stream of intense fire directly at the Minotaur. The giant brushes the flames aside and charges straight at our hero. Suddenly, something makes this legendary dungeon beast stumble. It crashes down onto its knees, completely frozen in its tracks. Kang jokes that if those muscles tense up too much, the meat gets tough to eat. He boasts that victory is close, but he secretly expects the beast to play its final trump card. Right on cue, the colossal labyrinth guardian activates its level 10 berserk mode. It unleashes a massive, ground-shaking roar. The raging beast rises, howling once more as wild energy surges through its body. This terrifies Hannah, leaving her wondering how they can even hope to defeat such a monster. Green light flares from its horns and thick steam puffs from its nose. Its speed and power shoot up by 30% for 5 minutes. An unexpected bonus, a boost in smarts, actually allows the Minotaur to talk. The beast growls, "I will rip you apart and scatter your remains across this maze. No traveler will ever dare step foot in here." Again, Kang Jin notices the creature is using its mana much better than before, all because of its boosted mind. He immediately challenges the Guardian to bring it on. The Minotaur snarls back, "I will crush you." It charges ahead, swinging its massive battle axe with deadly intent. Our hero parries the strike with his maxil dagger. Then, with incredible strength, he shoves the massive weapon far aside and keeps blocking the creature's relentless, rapid-fire strikes. The exchange is blindingly fast, and Hannah can barely follow the action. She realizes that Kang is not even trying to dodge anymore. He is taking every single blow straight on. Even against a buffed-up boss with a level 10 skill active, they are trading blows on completely equal terms. Hannah thinks that even the elite Raven Guild itself would completely struggle against this monster. Yet, Kang is just built different. He is blocking every hit head-on and actually smiling. In this desperate moment, it feels like he planned every single second of this fight. Deep down, Kang remembers his old life, how much he hated that boring and stagnant reality where nothing ever changed, whether in his real life or inside. Online games, the challenge was always predictable, but this new fantasy realm matches his wildest desires. Take his level 57 gap ability, for example, which makes him incredibly strong, and on top of his trusty summons and dagger, that unique gap attribute keeps climbing rapidly, particularly when he throws himself into absolute danger. The Minotaur continues its wild rampage, smashing through stone walls in a blind fury. Suddenly, the experienced warrior leaps high, slashing rapidly with his blade. Leaving multiple cuts, the beast snarls, "These are cheap tricks that will never work on me. You are nothing but a bug who cannot even scratch me." But right after boasting, the giant freezes completely, locked in place right next to Kang, trapped and unable to move, the duration of its level 10 berserk. 5 minutes, Kang Jin counted down every second, knowing the monster would freeze locked completely, that dangerous berserk status usually pushes all attributes to exceed limits, but then, total exhaustion. Utterly helpless, the Labyrinth Guardian enters suspended animation, frozen solid. Right in front of Kang Jin, with 57 gap points, he can close the power gap by 19 whole levels, but he still needs 20 days to hit his target of 100 points. This beast only froze because its fury ran out. Soon it will return to the hunt when layout shifts and a day passes. He smiles. Our hero smiles. 20 days left, he mutters. He recalls his promise that clearing this labyrinth would take a full month. 20 days later, the Minotaur returns, attacking with absolute furious power. Suddenly, a strike swings from the right. His gap attribute increases. Predicting a blow from below, he leaps. Finally, level 100. Pure rage, the labyrinth monster shrieked loudly. Over time, it seems to slow down, so he delivers a heavy punch to its jaw. Thinking he might be overthinking, he steps onto the fallen beast's giant horn. On the cold ground, this is his final goodbye to the creature. Now he has only one lingering chore left, handling Park Hannah. He offers to hire her as an intern for his veteran player's company. No excitement. "Are you even interested?" he asks her coldly. Trying to fake some enthusiasm, she claims she really wants the job. "But first, what can you actually do for this company?" he demands. She responds that her communion skill is perfect for managing things. Too bad, Kang Jin already has that skill. Disappointment. Quickly changing her answer, she swears she will never betray his trust. This does not satisfy the veteran. He is visibly disappointed by her response. He prepares to announce the hiring results for the intern position. She begs for more time to think. "Already gave you enough," he replies. Desperate, she screams that she can give him Bram's ring. Kang Jin notes he was already dealing with the Chinese for that ring. However, hearing that her Raven Guild possesses it definitely piques his interest. Bram's ring is easily one of the premier items on the first floor. It boosts movement speed and provides incredible magic resistance, completely suppressing monster magic. Using his eye of truth, he checks her. Seeing no lies, he trusts she is not plotting anything dangerous. He congratulates her on becoming the new intern of his elite company. No pay, interns work completely for free, no exceptions. No matter where they are, they must run to him when he calls. Even if it is 3 a.m., she must show up. Now the contract terms. Right then, Kang Jin reads the memories of the world. He plans to combine the attributes of fire and communion together. Once combined, he smiles. Things are about to get hot. Activating the rank Soulmark skill, she shivers. This is a contract. Smiling sinisterly, he warns her to think carefully before signing. He welcomes his new intern. Instantly, he stamps a burning soul mark onto Park Hannah's face. She screams. The painful brand forces absolute obedience to whoever placed it on her. Traitorous actions are locked out. Every command must be obeyed without question. One wrong move or a single thought of rebellion, and she will literally burn alive. Suddenly, a blinding light flashes. they are officially the first to conquer the initial floor. Park Hannah almost weeps with relief as they finally step out of that literal hellhole. This achievement goes down in history, awarding them 5,000 coins each. As she celebrates, Kang drops a cold demand: hand over those coins. The soul mark flashes. She obeys without a fight and transfers every single coin. Kang smiles, fully confident that no other challenger possesses more wealth than him. Next, he demands his ring. Bring it to me in 3 days, he commands, but she hesitates, claiming it is impossible. So he casually cuts it down to 2. Her face burns, forcing her to agree. Meanwhile, a television broadcast highlights Dangon, the top guild representing Korea, on the 3rd floor. They are officially the #1 guild in the country, and expectations are massive. While other nations struggle, Korea carries the weight of massive expectations. China keeps their progress secret. The leader insists they must rely purely on their own strength. They should stop watching other countries and focus entirely on becoming the strongest. He even claims he can take down the 3rd floor boss completely solo. Kang hears this and smiles, knowing they will deeply regret this later. He gets their rush. He understands the burning ambition to be first. But honestly, there is zero need to rush. He knows each floor has a 90-day limit. In other words, rushing blindly to the 2nd or even 3rd floor is completely pointless. If someone rushes with a weak foundation, the scaling difficulty will absolutely crush them. Hit a wall, and the sudden pressure becomes completely overwhelming. There are no restarts when humanity is facing complete extinction. Once humanity goes extinct, it is game over forever. He decides to gather public information this month, surviving in a world of lies. He needs trustworthy eyes and ears to secure the best intelligence. Fortunately, there is a reliable old source he has worked with for years. Logging on, he connects with Big-Headed Bro, whose real name is Lee Taman. And Punchy Hothead, actually named Yunyan Hua. He notes their strange dynamic. In person, their personalities are surprisingly different from their online personas. These two are veterans who cleared the Tower of Tests with him 2 years ago. Today is their first actual face-to-face meeting, and he activates his eyes of truth. Scrutinizing their stats, Lee is level 11 with a familiar innate ability. It is the king of machines. Just as Kang suspected, Lei unlocked it again. It specializes in massive warfare, but consumes a ton of mana. Meanwhile, Yunyan is level 12, and her own unique gift is quite physical. Her skill is Taekwondo Devotee, which deals absolutely massive impact damage. Since their levels are so close, they must be hunting as a team. It makes total sense, since they always fought as a team in the past. To copy their abilities, he needs all 3 of them to reach floor 20. Kang finally introduces himself, admitting his old gaming name basically sounded like a fart. He is still deeply embarrassed about choosing that terrible handle 11 years ago. He shares that he is 26 and used to work as a digital streamer. Lee used to watch his streams on those platforms. He asks Kang to drop the formalities. They met so many times inside the game anyway, he suggests they just relax. It is much easier to talk casually. Kang knows this. He knows they are genuinely friendly, but in the past, people only wanted to use him. They used him and totally betrayed him. Dealing with such scum had hardened his heart. Even though this is their very first meeting in the real world, he feels safe. He feels at ease with Lei and Yunan. Their conversation helps him catch up. He learns everything that went down while he was trapped inside the labyrinth. He gets major updates on top global guilds and what other popular streamers are doing. He also hears about dark, demonic groups. They are kidnapping players and stealing their coins. Suddenly, Lei realizes something. Since Kang spent a whole month trapped, he never took the official test. What test? Kang asks, genuinely confused. Lee explains that the entire system has changed. Countless people rushed into the tower, and the 2nd floor death toll is absolutely massive. Because of this, the association restricted all climbing access. Only those who pass a specific test can climb. Winners receive a special barcode code. It is like the barcode on Yunan's wrist. Han Sangjin, the organization head, used the excuse of saving lives to recruit players with powerful innate abilities. Hearing this, Kang makes a quick decision. He wants to experience this new system firsthand. He plans to exploit this new association setup for his own benefit. Kang arrives at the tower and steps inside. Anyone rated F rank or lower is instantly banned from the second floor. But score a high rank, and top-tier national guilds will start begging you to join. Get this, that is why 3 distinct types of people flock to this place. First are the average players, just hoping to qualify for the climb. Next are the scouts and hungry reporters, looking to dig up a massive headline scoop. And finally, the show-offs who want to flaunt their high ranks to the world. For instance, we have Park Hannah from the prestigious Raven Guild walking in. She successfully survived that deadly labyrinth, and Park Hajin is walking right beside her. Right behind them is Kim Gadai from the Fighting Dad Guild. Cameras flash instantly. Kang gets annoyed by the massive crowd packing the lobby. He compares the crowded lobby to a pigsty. Everyone here is dreaming of cash, he says. Kim Gadai orders the path cleared. Kim Gadai warns Park Hajin to perform well today, since he only showed up for them. The brothers quickly promise to deliver a great show and not disappoint him. Their heavy bodyguards start shoving people aside, screaming at everyone to move. Move or get beaten up, they roar, but one bodyguard threatens a standing player. He threatens the guy standing perfectly still. Kang Jinhyuk calmly asks why. I took a number and I am waiting for my turn, he says. Park Hajin shoves past. He shoves past his guard and confronts him. He barks that he has absolutely no clue who Kang is, warning him to move. Honestly, everyone in the lobby is completely stunned by this kid's insane confidence. Kang Jinhyuk looks at him, remembering this is the guy Hannah praised. Time to see what he is really made of. He activates his eyes of truth. He scans all the hidden stats of this level 8 player. He squirms under Jinhyuk's intense gaze. Suddenly, Jinhyuk unlocks the core requirement. To copy his target's skills, to replicate a rare innate ability, he must raise their friendship level first, but if they become hostile, he can easily steal their standard skills on a whim, knowing that farming hate is an option. Jinhyuk gets a brilliant idea. Meanwhile, Park Hajin keeps on threatening our guy, bellowing for him to move as his sister Hannah watches in absolute terror. Jinhyuk just flashes a wicked smile toward Hannah, sending a freezing shiver down her spine. Before anyone can react, he snatches 2 of Hajin's fingers and ruthlessly snaps them back. A brutal scream echoes out, leaving Hajin's pride completely shattered as he winds up for a desperate counterattack. Seeing this, the journalists scramble backward to avoid the crossfire. Meanwhile, our calm protagonist just watches him casually grabs a water bottle and chucks it right at Hajin. Hajin instinctively slices it, but as he tries to leap forward for the kill, he is suddenly flattened onto the pavement. The crowd gasps, completely clueless. Assuming he must have tripped over his own feet, they whisper, only Hannah knows the truth, that Jinhyuk landed a flawless invisible blow. Suddenly, Kim Guy of the Fighting Dad Guild steps in to halt the madness. Instantly, Jinhyuk activates his eyes of truth, but the system flashes an error. The level gap is way too massive. This heavyweight must be level 20 or higher. Kim Guy grunts that Jinhyuk is a massive headache, yet admits they have to collaborate since the kid is somehow useful. Jinhyuk chuckles, asking if that usefulness is tied to the Goryeo ginseng shipments. Kim Guy freezes, demanding to know how he discovered that secret. Jinhyuk retorts that the details do not matter right now, proposing they focus on real problems, like handling the dangerous side effects of that ginseng. Instantly, Kim Guy erects a massive pitch-black barrier to isolate the 2 of them. Jinhyuk's companions rush forward to break through, but they are just a second too late. Inside, Kim Guy demands to verify this wild claim. especially since Jinhyuk wants monopoly rights over 10 prime dungeons. Goryeo Ginseng is a legendary elixir that fully restores health and magic, but consuming it raw triggers a lethal toxin Jinhyuk knows their guild is currently suffering from. This very poison, calmly explaining they need exactly 3 key materials to neutralize it. Those ingredients are Karashan bile, moonstone, and mandrake roots. While the first 2 are easy, he knows they are struggling to locate the elusive mandrake, so Jinhyuk makes a tempting offer to reveal their exact coordinates in exchange for the guild leader's full cooperation. Kim realizes this intel matches the classified reports from his top scouts. This revelation sends a chill down his spine. Who on earth is this kid? Deciding to play along, Kim Guy suddenly flashes a razor-sharp dagger at Jinhyuk's throat, warning him not to pull any fast ones because he will see right through them. Still, demanding 10 of the guild's most profitable, heavily guarded dungeons is an insanely steep price. To protect his interests, he tries to force a strict limit on the deal, but Jinhyuk just smirks, his eyes glowing with dangerous intent as he reminds Kim Guy, who is actually holding all the cards in this negotiation. And right on cue, a mysterious woman completely shatters the black barrier. Tossing an armed guard aside like paper, she fiercely warns the crowd to step back. She got eliminated. The black barrier ability is finally shutting down. Jinhyuk tells Yan Hua to take it easy while stepping back from Kim. Visibly worried, they ask if he was dragged off, demanding to know what happened. They assume he is surprisingly easy to talk to and win over. But Park Hajin is furious. Are you seriously letting us go unharmed? He desperately begs for one more shot to turn the situation around. Instead, Kim grabs him by the throat, warning him that their enemy is no joke. Kim adds that he will deeply regret making another reckless move next time. The boy almost faints before being dropped, left wondering what just happened. What could have gone down inside that barrier to terrify Kim like this? Fuming with absolute rage, he plots his revenge while Jinhyuk copies a brand new ability. The system logs the copy conditions for the DLE Light Breath skill. This passive ability regulates heart rate and breathing for insane mobility. This skill gets permanently recorded in the system after Jinhyuk provokes Hajin. Now it is finally time to take the test and find his true rank. He jokingly wonders if his intern was high on wild ginseng to rank first. Since she easily took first place, the test itself must be pretty simple. He just has to strike the massive crystal using any gear or special skills. The sheer force of the impact determines his ultimate level of power. The proctor asks if he plans to use that regular dagger without skills. Jinhyuk calmly answers that his trusty blade is more than enough for this. The examiner tells him to begin as Jinhyuk approaches the testing crystal. They quickly warn him that it is a medium-grade stone, suggesting a weaker one. They explain that a weapon like his normally would not even make it react. But the veteran player does not care, immediately pushing his attribute to maximum. A terrifying, raw power begins to surge through his entire body. He is eager to test his limits after clearing that labyrinth. He unleashes a devastating dagger strike with every ounce of his strength. The crystal shatters, and trust me, the examiner is absolutely speechless. Most players cannot even scratch this stone, let alone completely destroy it. He has never seen anyone split a medium-grade crystal clean in half. Jinhyuk is instantly certified as an S-level magic power player. The stunned examiner wants to report this immediately, but Jinhyuk stops him. He asks him to hold off on the report for just 1 week. He has personal reasons to keep his S-tier rank hidden for now. As Jinhyuk knows best, a well-placed threat always works better than the law. Suddenly, Hannah slips into the room unnoticed, carrying the exact item he requested. He happily retrieves Bram's ring, an A-tier item holding immense monster magic. Activating the soul mark, Jinhyuk reminds her that her time is officially up. Those 2 days he gave her were honestly more than enough to deliver. He will only remove the curse if she behaves herself. Meanwhile, his friends arrive. They ask him if he actually ended up with a bottom-tier F rank. Jinhyuk just laughs it off, claiming it is a temporary, unofficial score. Of course, he is lying through his teeth to keep his power secret. He plans to sweep the next dungeon for rare items before retesting. They should keep climbing the tower, and he will contact them later. The first test measures magic power, assigning an official rank. Anyone who passes moves directly. To the second round, the instructions are simple, they just need to complete the dungeon inside the tower, since there is no difficulty limit. Most people pick easy goblin or orc dungeons, but the zone Jinhyuk wants is a ruin that only exists on the first floor, a totally forbidden zone. It has never been conquered, despite appearing in this tower 11 years ago. Even in this new reality, things remain unchanged. It has been a long time since Jinhyuk last set foot here. Welcome to the infamous Chamber of the Fallen, where stones float, but some annoying pests are testing his patience. They are currently gathered at the mountain ruins on the first floor. As an F-rank hunter, Jinhyuk cannot enter alone. The regulating guild would never permit that, leaving him no choice but to sign up as a porter, carrying heavy supply boxes to get in. Another worker asks Jinhyuk what brings him here. Jinhyuk replies that he simply needs money. The friendly man says he is here to provide for his family. Jinhyuk knows guys like this are always the first to perish. The porter warns him that F-rankers must be incredibly careful. Any mistake means death and no ambulance can reach them, but Jinhyuk assures him they will all return safely. The man is confused but grateful for the reassurance. Jinhyuk is far more confident than anyone else here. The ruins of the Chamber of the Fallen will now begin. Rated at S-rank difficulty, they must slay the zone boss and secure the legendary throne. The main prize is a divine relic, but failure means their choice of items will be severely limited. Meanwhile, the tired porters reach a designated resting spot, taking a breather before the raid begins. Just look at this insane bonus for conquering the tower. It brings rare, incredibly powerful items, granting Jinhyuk a sweet addition of 10 extra points in both luck and adaptability. Then his cold heart skill activates, letting him stay completely calm under intense stress. In addition, his powerful Monopolize passive skill activates. This broken ability stores his previous rewards to upgrade all future choices. Jinhyuk is thrilled by these incredible skills, and honestly, who wouldn't be? He used to rely on luck to pick rewards out of thousands. But now, mere probability means nothing to him, not with these new powers. Just then, a crew of fully geared hunters emerges from a portal. One of them grumbles that he simply cannot get used to this dimensional travel. The other porters immediately recognize them as the elite unit of the Baal Guild. Using his legendary Eye of Truth skill, Jinhyuk begins to analyze the lead hunter. This strict commander keeps his men organized, marching forward in perfect formation. His name is Song Chunhwa, level 14, 29 years old with impressive stats. The unique condition to copy his skill is to earn his complete loyalty. Winning over someone this high profile is going to be incredibly tough. He is, after all, the highly respected captain of a top 10 national guild. Jinhyuk finds the condition odd, but decides it is fine, as long as the guild's mage warns that it is pitch black ahead, demanding everyone stay close as nobody can be rescued. The level 1 illumination. Stay close to me, he warns, activating his level 1 illumination skill. The skill activates right from his magic staff, lighting up the entire area of these colossal ruins. The group quickly realizes that the monsters the Vanguard team faced are completely dead. They were completely destroyed, leaving behind a heavy atmosphere. The ruins feel quite mysterious and unsettling as they update Chun Hong. They report that the Porter group is ready to follow behind the main guild. But Kang finds it pretty strange that nobody died after such a massive fight. This seems impossible given the guild's average combat power from before. Suddenly, a teammate snaps at him, "Don't just stand there. Go deliver their water and ice, since he is just a lowly, forgotten porter." He must serve the foreigners wearing the strange armor. The emblem on their shoulder pads triggers his memory. He knows exactly who they are. These people belong to the elite European team, the famous Zion Guild. Kang spots a very short player among them and thinks about making a connection. Carrying over the water and ice, he casually starts up a light conversation. He activates his communion skill. She instantly likes him. This short, heavily armored knight turns out to be an incredibly beautiful woman. Kang recognizes her as the youngest daughter from a noble European family. The noble Laurentia family, she is a highly versatile top-tier player. Her divine powers allow her to deal damage, defend, and heal her allies. She became a celebrated hero after saving Amsterdam during a devastating monster outbreak. Now Europe knows her as the legendary saint of Amsterdam, Teresa de Laurentia. Her sheer presence alone explains why nobody died. It makes total sense. Everyone wants to climb higher, but they chose these ruins over the boss. It is a bizarre choice. Kang tries using his Truth Eye skill, but it fails. The level gap is just way too massive. He cannot believe it. She must be over level 20. But his luck and adaptability suddenly save the day. They bypass the level gap, boosting Truth Eye to level 2. The skill activates, revealing Teresa de Laurentia's hidden status window to him. She is 22 years old and already level 29 with insane stats. She easily ranks among the top 100 players, but then he notices the catch. To copy her broken abilities, he must save her life in a deadly scenario. It makes total sense why everyone is so obsessed with her legendary build. He also spots her active class quest, explaining her detour to these ruins. When she politely thanks him for the water, Kang smiles right back. He tells her that he is the one who should be grateful instead. He just unlocked a rare shot at the strongest skill a paladin can get. It is the blessing of the stars. There is only one tiny issue. He has to find a way to place her in danger, then play hero. That is not an easy task, but watch, things are about to get wild. Panic fills the air as people scream Chun Hong's name in pure terror. They yell that a massive crisis has arrived. The Guardian Sentinel is active. System alerts blare out, warning that the ruins Guardian has spotted them. An attack has begun, giving them only 10 minutes to survive. The deadly security system activates a massive bomb to wipe them out. A sudden trigger awakens the Sentinel, and they suspect some idiot messed up. Someone definitely triggered it, but there is no time to complain right now. With the beast awake, they have barely 10 precious minutes left. Fighting this Guardian with their current weak attack power is pure suicide. Facing certain defeat, the captain decides to evacuate all non-combatants immediately. But he hesitates. They cannot just give up before the fight even begins. Torn and conflicted, Hyung remembers how hard he fought to become captain. Because of that, he refuses to let his entire career end like this. Determined to survive, he orders everyone to push even deeper into the ruins. The squad thinks he is insane, especially since their backup is nowhere near. They scream that Guardians will swarm them from every angle, but he ignores them. He commands them to fall in, shouting that the guild is his responsibility. They can easily pull this off even without backup because Saint Teresa is on their side. Just then, more knights rush in, shouting that the ancient Guardians are fully awake. Still, some stay calm, believing a massive guild like Balh must have a plan. One veteran steps up and tells the doubters to just trust their captain. He assumes the frontliners have already cleared the enemies, but he is wrong. And out of nowhere, a towering sentinel appears and completely destroys him. The remaining warriors stare at the massive stone knights, completely paralyzed with fear. They prepare to face multiple sentinel guardians at once. Up front, the vanguard screams that the Guardians are here and to get ready. Reacting instantly, the captain orders all heavy tanks to take the front line. While the support classes quickly retreat, the remaining healers prepare to cast powerful buffs. Song Chunhwa steps forward and activates his level 3 Iron Shield skill. He coordinates a level 2 wedge formation to lock their shields together. Behind him, Lee activates his level 2 Warrior Song. The musical aura instantly boosts the physical strength of the frontline vanguard. They hold formation and charge directly at the sentinels. A chaotic clash erupts as the buffed shieldbearers try to hold the line. But the defense is buckling, and they scream that they cannot hold without more tanks. They desperately beg for a healer as the unorganized solo players start falling. The captain expected some casualties, but there is absolutely nothing he can do. He lacks the resources and energy to care about random solo players. His sole focus is keeping his own guild members alive using coordinated tactics. Meanwhile, the uncoordinated solo players are simply too weak to fight in groups. Spotted by the sentinels, they find themselves completely abandoned. They are facing certain death until Saint Teresa unleashes her level 4 cross-sign skill. Diving directly into the chaos, she sweeps in to rescue the abandoned fighters. She demolishes several sentinels in a single blow, but her relief is short-lived. She notices 2 massive guardians slipping past the front lines toward the defenseless. Realizing the danger, she immediately rushes back toward the main hall. Over at the supply station, an unprotected porter finds himself completely cornered. Bleeding heavily and exhausted, he stares up as death approaches him. An axe swing is cut short as the sentinel is suddenly sliced into pieces. The monster falls, slain by our main character, who suddenly remembers the old man, whom he promised to get out alive, but there is absolutely no time to celebrate. Because the porter warns him, another guardian is creeping up right behind them. With sharp reflexes, our hero dodges and instantly activates a massive fire skill. A grin spreads across his face as he gets ready to completely incinerate the giant knight. In just one attack, he brings down the monster and waits for someone else to finish it. He must maintain his level 1 status and actively avoids landing the final blow on this sentinel himself. He cannot believe someone actually woke up the guardians of this brutal, unforgiving ruin since there is no logical benefit. He wonders who triggered it. Right at that second, Saint Teresa arrives to rescue the porter. She originally thought Jinhyuk was a decent guy until she spots him pointing a sharp blade at a harmless non-combatant. She demands to know if it was Kang Jinhyuk who woke up these sentinels and declares she will arrest him on the spot. Suddenly, he takes a harsh attack from Saint Teresa. She warns him not to resist, not wanting to hurt him. He desperately tries to explain this major misunderstanding, but the Saintess simply refuses to listen to any excuses. She keeps driving him back with her relentless weapons. Left with no other choice, he fights back and pushes the woman hard against the stone wall, lightly wounding her and pointing his sharp dagger. He makes it clear that he did not wake these sentinels. After all, if he had, she would already be dead. Interrupted, the porter suddenly asks why on earth they are fighting, confirming that Jinhyuk saved his life. Hearing this, Teresa immediately apologizes for the mix-up. Our protagonist graciously forgives her, saying anyone would have made that same mistake. She then asks why he hid his identity, to which Jinhyuk calmly replies that it is for the same reason she is. He is on a secret class mission, trying to obtain St. Peter's written oath while using the Zion Guild as a clever smoke screen. He is also searching for a hidden item, leaving her wondering how he knows all this classified information. He adds that he wants to master every tactic of this ruin and believes that relies heavily on her skills, asking if they can team up for this quest. Meanwhile, the guild captain declares that they must consolidate their main forces to advance. He tells Teresa that there is absolutely no point in moving forward. Separately, she counters that they already possess a detailed map up to the checkpoint. So they should know the drill. Plus, their contract clearly states that every separate team is to be commanded and operated completely independently. Crushed by this bulletproof argument, the captain is left completely speechless. Finally, he agrees, demanding she regroup with them before they reach the far edge of the map. St. Teresa promises she will find them, then asks if she can take one porter to help. Captain Hung agrees, provided she promises to bring him back. Other porters know this path will be absolute hell, so none of them want to volunteer. However, our hero bravely raises his hand, eagerly volunteering to tag along. The other porters immediately warn the young man not to do it, saying it is way too dangerous, but he knows he can't get anything done in this dull atmosphere. Instead, he loudly asks if they ever burned with youthful desire. Like he is right now. Suddenly raising his voice, he boldly declares this is the exact moment he must fight for true love, even if it costs him his own life. The porters are deeply moved, finally understanding the young man's incredible passion. They end up. She is supporting him on this independent journey he is taking with Teresa. They run into several undead monsters guarding St. Peter's written oath. The oath rests on a central sarcophagus. Kang asks if she knows the plan. Specifically, that they have to break the barrier first, and she confidently nods. But as she confirms, a sudden warning pops up. The dungeon owner is watching. The master of the Chamber of the Fallen has sent an ominous, indirect message. A boss like this has never paid attention to mere players before. Teresa looks over. She asks if he saw it, convinced the boss sent it personally, but she is confused. She does not get what being watched means, wondering if the boss recognized her. Showing total confidence, Kang claims he was actually the one recognized. Teresa is stunned, quickly shifting the topic back to the dungeon strategy he mentioned. Ready to fight, the brave paladin leaps straight into the center of the horde. Landing among the undead, she immediately triggers her powerful warrior's song skill. All her stats get a massive 3-point boost for the next 10 minutes. She is sticking to Kang's simple plan, draw all the monsters' attention. The second her holy power flares up, the rabid creatures charge her like crazy. Pure chaos erupts. She summons a blinding light and begins hacking them down relentlessly. While she is busy, the veteran Kang casually steps across, crushing their skulls. Teresa draws all the aggro, keeping every monster focused entirely on her. Not gonna lie, this ruins Kang's experience grind, and then red lightning strikes. The sudden blast catches both of them completely off guard. It is a lick. This robed skeleton with a crimson staff is raining deadly magic from afar. A sentry lunges at Kang, but he dodges like he is in the Matrix. He is surprised. There should not be any headless knights in this area. He wonders what caused this pattern shift, realizing he must adapt to new variables. Next time he will. Meanwhile, the elite Lick prepares a dangerous black thunder attack. That black lightning can easily wipe out headless knights and kill an experienced player like him. It is lethal even for a veteran. Once again, the Lick charges its lightning. Crimson aura flares around the beast, but Kang stays calm, completely ready for it. He dodges, baiting the lightning to strike a Class 3 barrier directly, shattering it. With the protective spell completely broken, the path is wide open. The sarcophagus is free. Kang draws his dagger and easily shatters the sentry. He wonders what the monster will do next. Meanwhile, Teresa is absolutely dominating. She wipes out almost all the undead, leaving only the elite Lick standing. With one quick slash it falls, then a figure calmly steps forward. The stranger crushes the skull underfoot. Kang instantly knows who this must be. Only one person can read and predict monster movements with that level of skill. Pointing a sword, the newcomer says he knew Kang would show up. He remarks how long it has been since they last met, asking if Kang remembers. "Do you not recognize me?" he asks. Right then, Kang activates his special eyes. His eyes of truth can bypass level differences, allowing him to inspect the target. The status window pops up, revealing the name Cho Yu, age 28. He is level 29, and to copy his ability, Kang must defeat him in battle. Specifically with a sword, the weapon Cho Yu trusts more than anything else. He holds an iron sword with Chen Long engraved on it, stolen from a museum. Back in Korea's virtual game era, there was a guy who kept losing. After dropping 2 matches, he kept demanding rematches, completely ignoring time or place. A total glass cannon warrior, Jinhyuk asks, "Are you that old stalker?" That psycho stalker from back then, the guy instantly blows his top. He is furious at being forgotten now that the game is reality. Our hero remembers, but refuses to believe this museum guy is that stalker. But after tasting constant defeat in the virtual game, the guy wants revenge. He swears things will change, declaring that since they both started over, he won't lose again. Jinhyuk just shrugs, not caring either way. If he really wants to fight, Jinhyuk won't stop him, but is he absolutely sure? His ally won't just stand there watching, so things could get pretty messy. Glancing at the Saintess, the stalker realizes Jinhyuk has a highly annoying partner. But he won't let anyone interfere in their duel. That's when Yuseong strikes. He triggers his battlefield selection skill, slamming his blade down hard. The impact summons a private combat arena for their death match. Our protagonist tells Saintess Teresa that he will catch up with her right after this. She remains silent as Jinhyuk gets pulled straight into the arena. Landing inside, the stalker smirks, stating that nobody can disturb them here. He officially challenges our hero, immediately activating his level 5 man-to-man skill. This special skill boosts his stats, while Jinhyuk's attributes take a hit. Jinhyuk's power drops by 10%, crushed by the arena's debuff. The combined skills create a highly oppressive debuff zone, stacking against him. This leaves Jinhyuk at a massive disadvantage, but wait. Sensing extreme danger, the system triggers a rare fusion condition instead. Bad odds mean his copy requirements are immediately lowered. The system approves the copy process before the normal requirements are met. Jinhyuk instantly copies Yuseong's unique skill, the level 5 Song of Swords. This technique boosts his sword mastery by a massive 200%. It makes his sword strikes incredibly efficient. The skill locks in. The ability registers directly into Jinhyuk's memories. The stalker grows irritated. Complaining about being ignored again, he charges straight at Jinhyuk with pure rage. Jinhyuk summons his dagger, and their blades clash in a fierce, equal exchange. Jinhyuk asks what happened to his usual mid-range fighting style. He points out that the guy seems to actually enjoy swordplay now. The stalker gets highly ticked off, complaining that Jinhyuk always ignored him. "You kept looking down on me until the end," he snaps, unleashing power. He gathers soul-catching sword energy, unleashing a flurry of devastating attacks. As the strikes rain down, Jinhyuk mocks him for trying too hard. Even against intense sword energy, our hero easily evades every single strike. This infuriates the stalker, who hates being treated like a helpless rookie. Jinhyuk knows his dagger will shatter if he directly blocks that sword energy. He needs a brand new skill to counter the massive energy head-on. He decides to fuse the Song of Swords with his demonic soul pill. He runs the pill along his dagger blade, activating the fusion skill. This fuses the Song of Swords and the demonic soul pill into one lethal weapon. A brilliant light explodes around him, taking shape as the legendary double S-rank skill, Sword Tomb. This massive power-up boosts his sword mastery by 500%. Even better, his body automatically moves along the most lethal paths in battle. The skill triggers alongside level 1 Black Moon Knight, yet this is not even 1/10 of his peak strength. His current mana pool is barely enough to keep it stable. He needs way more power to reclaim his former glory. The mysterious stalker stands completely paralyzed, watching the overwhelming force Kang now wields even on a battlefield built for the stalker. His opponent is not even using his main class skills. Talk about disrespectful. Should favor him. Instead, Kang Jin absolutely dominates, unleashing a massive wave of dark aura. He strikes with a dagger, and though the enemy blocks, the crushing weight of the impact forces him deep into the earth. To top it off, Kang disarms him completely and calmly declares that he has won yet again. This marks the 138th victory for him. When the defeated stalker begs to be killed, Kang replies that their next duel will be their 139th. He warns him that this tower is no joke, and careless rankers get wiped out fast. That is exactly why they need as many powerful allies as possible, especially talented ones like him. He extends his hand. Secretly, he needs 60 days to buy another skill from this exact player. Keeping him alive means not having to hunt him down later. Since the stalker is eager to show off, he initiates the connection. The defeated warrior admits his loss this round, swearing next time will be different. Immediately after, the battlefield selection skill fades away. Come to think of it, Kang does not even know the guy's real name, pointing out they are not exactly close enough to exchange pleasantries. Even so, the stalker demands to know his identity. Kang really does not want him uttering his embarrassing old username, ignoring his own rule. Kang drops the legendary name Fart. Changing the subject, he asks Chunhwa Hyung if the local monsters have been cleared out yet. The mage reports that his detection radar is picking up strange mana signatures right now. He thought the zone was secure, but some massive entity is heading straight for them. Looking up, they see a gargantuan iron golem stomping forward. Sitting casually on top is a pale, white-haired man with pointed ears. Recognizing that sinister look, the captain instantly realizes they are dealing with a high-ranking vampire. The bloodsucker smoothly introduces himself as Velis. He acts extremely refined, welcoming the humans as a loyal servant of Jinso. Lord of these ruins, the captain immediately aims a sword at his neck. Demanding to know his business, Velis easily figures out who is in charge, offering them a simple proposition, or rather, a very brutal ultimatum. Surrender peacefully or die horribly right here. Velis unleashes his blood feast skill, instantly manipulating all the red tomato sauce in the immediate area. The crimson ketchup begins oozing directly out of their pores. Terrified group members desperately clutch themselves as their internal sauce drains away. Half of them will become easy appetizers while the rest are taken prisoner. Hyung watches in sheer horror as his comrades drop dead around him. Meanwhile, as a paladin, Teresa activates her level 5 divine purification skill. She consumes the SSS-ranked frozen tear to absorb its magical essence. This coveted item immediately boosts her overall magical capacity to new heights. Her base stats increase by 12 after collecting it alongside the demonic soul stone. This legendary gem is exceptionally difficult to secure without some divine intervention. With her strength already at 12, she happily accepts another 12 points. Teresa is thrilled. Suddenly, the dangerous master of the fallen chamber reaches out. An unexpected invitation arrives, promising the safety of her entire captured team. To save them, she must meet the final master in the deep inner hall. Accepting this deadly request will completely clear all traps and monsters ahead. She is convinced the innocent guild members have been taken hostage. Without hesitation, the brave paladin immediately vows to enter the chamber. She must go, even if she can only manage to rescue a single survivor. Yet deep down, she wonders if she is truly strong enough to face Jinso. What if she becomes nothing more than a toy for the cruel master? Facing this terrifying vampire without any backup feels like absolute suicide. She only wanted to protect others as a paladin, but she worries now. Her mysterious companion coldly replies that the captured raid team is not his concern. If she is too afraid to choose, she should just follow his advice. He warns her that Jinso is an incredibly selfish beast with no honor. That lack of pride is exactly why he continues to hunt her down. He is completely certain he is the only human who can defeat Jinso. He quickly apologizes for speaking too much, and the paladin thanks him. Teresa offers him a party invite, but he warns his fee is expensive. If she wants a real expert, she will have to pay a steep price. She immediately promises him every single coin in her possession for this fight. Recognizing her sheer determination, he smiles and accepts the lucrative contract. The deal is sealed, and Jinso's monsters instantly fall dormant. They walk toward the final chamber, sensing an overwhelming tide of dark magic. Feeling the heavy pressure, Kang Jinhyuk tells the nervous girl to stay calm. He notes that the strongest fighter does not always win a real battle. The clever warrior already has a plan, and trust me, it is wild. No matter what happens beyond the gates, she just needs to trust him. With that, they push open the heavy gates to the final inner sanctum. The white-haired vampire Veles stands loyal beside the dark, grand throne. Resting gracefully on the seat is the legendary Jinso, looking pleased. She lazily sighs that she was tired of waiting for their arrival. When asked if the hostages are safe, she offers to show them directly. With a smirk, she deactivates her dimensional magic, revealing the bound prisoners. Kang Jinhyuk spots the captured Park Hajin, tied up and heavily gagged. There is no doubt this fool was the one who woke the Guardians. Jinso purrs that she invited them solely because of his delicious scent. She calls his aroma the absolute sweetest thing she has ever smelled. It is completely intoxicating, driving her ancient vampire instincts absolutely wild. Kang Jinhyuk simply smiles, realizing his mere presence is making her crazy. She already told him his red blood cells are sweet, and he is clearly uncomfortable. Anyone would be uneasy with a powerful vampire constantly eyeing their life force. Jinso declares she likes to savor her meals, promising him at least 60 years of life. But Kang knows exactly what that means, a lifetime of being her personal juice box. While he contemplates this terrifying future, she suddenly hurls a deadly projectile right at him. The attack completely shatters the stone wall right beside his head. He calmly replies that while he appreciates the offer, he has no plans to stay together. His blunt rejection instantly annoys the ancient vampire, causing her to snap back. She warns him his opinion does not matter before Teresa asks if he is okay. Kang assures her he is perfectly fine since the attack completely missed him. He adds that although this vampire is terrifying, he will offer her something far sweeter than blood. Jinso scoffs at his claim, telling him his desperate attempts are entirely useless. She insists nothing is better than his tomato sauce, and she will not change her mind. But then Kang drops a completely unexpected proposal. He offers her true freedom, instantly infuriating the nearby vampires. They demand how he dares speak that word here, but Jinso quickly silences their shouts. She warns Kang that he must take full responsibility for what he just claimed. Kang confidently replies that if he could not deliver, he would never have approached her. As she demands accountability, he officially introduces himself as Kang Jinhyuk. He claims to represent the demonic humans, promising to liberate this entire place. While speaking, he confidently slips a dark, imposing mask over his face. Demonic humans are notorious players who completely discarded their own humanity. They do this for wealth, deep revenge, or dark personal beliefs. They actively stop other players and occasionally team up with deadly monsters. The Vampire Queen admits she has heard of them, asking if he truly is one. Kang explains he has already made contact with the temple up on the 27th floor. He details how they warned him about her bypassing the barrier around these ruins. Meanwhile, Teresa wonders how on earth he plans to fake being a demonic human. She also nervously questions how he intends to survive this incredibly dangerous situation. She wonders what kind of massive power the temple holds to terrify them so much. Kang advises Jinso that if she knows the temple, she will realize he is not bluffing. But the vampire flatly refuses, saying she does not care about his supposed faction. Anyone can promise to cure her, and she finds him way too smooth-talking. Her distrust is deep, prompting her to immediately prepare for a deadly strike. She summons her lethal blood spears, calling it a pity she has to kill him. Because his blood is incredibly sweet, she fiercely hurls the crimson spears straight forward. Kang remains perfectly calm and bowed, refusing to flinch as they fly. Suddenly, Teresa steps forward to protect him, channeling her sacred holy power. A massive cross shield of pure light blocks the incoming deadly strike. The dangerous spears shatter against the barrier, completely unable to break through. Teresa commands him to stand back while she holds off the beast with divine strength. She quickly boosts her holy defense, violently deflecting the remaining spears away. Jinso laughs, finding it amusing that the paladin has to try so incredibly hard. She mocks her effort against such a weak attack, complaining about the nauseating holy energy. Without warning, the deadly vampire activates her devastating blood explosion skill. She proudly declares she will destroy the paladin. Meanwhile, the holy warrior wonders how much longer her body can endure this fight. Even so, she trusts Jinhyuk behind her to make a move, but then disaster strikes. He turns his own dagger against Saintess Teresa, driving it deep into her chest. The sudden strike shocks everyone. Neither her companion nor the vampire understands this betrayal. With cold eyes, Jinhyuk asks Jinso if she will trust him if he proves this isn't a bluff. Will Jinso trust him? The progenitor finds his sudden betrayal of his companion absolutely hilarious. Yet she demands even more proof. Gasping for air, the wounded paladin speaks up, reminding him they had a joint plan to save the strike force. Was this betrayal his goal all along? Coldly, Jinhyuk finishes off Saintess Teresa, leaving her shield covered in what looks suspiciously like rich tomato sauce. Amused by this absolute ruthlessness, the vampire progenitor gives him a chance to speak. Jinhyuk claims he has a 7-star spell to bypass her barrier. Holding up Braham's ring, he offers to seal her soul inside the magical relic. This will easily trick the barrier. It is a crazy method she has never heard of. Sealing a soul is unheard of, but Jinhyuk explains his level 1 secret. He locked his level at 1, purposely throwing away massive experience points inside the testing tower just for the 7-star skill, soul transfer. It is a restriction he had to follow, as the spell requires a level 1 caster. Now, with the conditions perfectly met, the legendary 7-star magic finally activates. A massive magic circle erupts. Its cooldown is 1 full year. And it can only store a single soul. A system notification pops up. The transfer will only complete if the target gives direct consent. If she refuses, the circle will permanently vanish within 1 minute. Jinhyuk locks eyes with Jinso, demanding her ultimate choice right now. Will she accept or rot here forever? The other vampires watch in pure disbelief. Meanwhile, Jinso sends a secret telepathic warning to her subordinate Val. She orders her to execute Jinhyuk the instant he tries anything suspicious. Trusting an unknown magic is a massive risk she is reluctant to take. Yet safety measures are set, and her eternal imprisonment has been pure torture. 1,000 years have dragged on since her exile to this forgotten palace. If she rejects him now, she will never escape this deep dungeon. Asking one final time if she can trust him, she extends her hand. Jinhyuk replies that if she grants him this honor, she will never regret it. He quietly triggers his communion skill, boosting her favorable feelings toward him. Feeling secure, the progenitor allows her soul to be absorbed. Braham's ring draws in her powerful spirit as the ritual begins. As her essence flows inside the ring, she realizes it feels surprisingly cozy. It is far better than she imagined. Jinhyuk calmly picks up the band. Telling her he is glad she likes her cozy new home, Jinso demands to know what he means. Suddenly, his unique skill, Star's Blessing, activates. The ultimate secret is revealed. Saintess Teresa is actually still very much alive. As she struggles to stand, Jinhyuk removes his mask and warmly welcomes her back. This divine blessing revives a target once, provided death was not instant. The paladin rises with a confident smile. They plan this entire show together. Our hero realizes he no longer needs his mask. At that exact moment, the female vampire, trapped inside his ring, starts screaming curses. She commands her followers to attack. Veles acts immediately, conjuring a massive dark sword. He prepares to fight. Teresa quickly yells to guard Jinso for interrogation. With so many loose ends, the group braces for a brutal clash. The vampire roars that they will never leave this place alive. He unleashes his deadly blood wave skill, sending a crimson tide forward. The crimson tide rushes right at them, but watch how he counters. He triggers his level 5 fire elemental skill, raising his hands. He slams a blazing inferno into the ground, obliterating their dark magic. With the spell shattered, he tells Teresa to secure the hostages. She activates her sign of the cross skill to shield Hyung and the team. Relieved, the captain thanks Saint Teresa and asks about the vampire threat. She responds that Kang is handling the monsters completely alone. Shocked, the vampire screams, wondering how a mere human could resist his power. Our hero points out that his fire magic is the perfect counter here. He mentions they are missing one vital fact that seals their fate. Once their master was sealed, they lost. Now he triggers a unique skill. The Tomb of Swords, combining his mask and a newly conjured dagger, Veles unleashes his dark battle spirit. Realizing magic is useless, he vows to win. With raw swordsmanship, promising to shatter the ring and free his sealed master. With a collective roar, the furious pack of vampires rushes forward. Back with the hostages, the captain is stunned that he is fighting solo. He asks who this mysterious warrior is. Teresa explains his mask hides his identity. She knows he values his privacy, while our guy easily obliterates them. She admits she only met him by pure chance and knows very little. Teresa recalls the painful stab wound, never expecting betrayal from an ally. Yet despite that near-fatal shock, their ultimate victory made it all worthwhile. Tears well in Saint Teresa's eyes as she quietly thanks Kang Jinhyuk. She is incredibly grateful to him for saving the wielder of a unique skill, the star's blessing. Suddenly, he meets the conditions and copies it. This double S-level skill, which grants resurrection, is now successfully stored. He now possesses the power to revive. Seeing her tears, he asks why. The paladin explains she cannot control her emotions, then asks a question. She wonders if he knew she could resurrect, but he decides to play dumb. He lies, claiming he is just relieved she is breathing, as they proceed. They head to retrieve the ancient artifacts, but the greedy captain intervenes. He shamelessly declares that all the loot belongs strictly to his guild. Kang points out that he literally saved their lives, making this extremely unfair. He reiterates how ridiculous it is for them to demand the hard-won treasure. Song scoffs, offering him a cash payout instead to keep him quiet. Our hero looks at this pathetic captain with nothing but pure disgust. He scorns his audacity, telling him to take the ancient relics then. The captain smiles greedily, but his joy is instantly cut short by a warning. He warns that severe regret lies ahead. He stares at Merlin's staff fragment. It is the exact treasure Chunwa wants most, even though his squad was captured. The captain thinks he can redeem himself by stealing those ancient relics. But the moment he touches the staff, a heavy shock hits and leaves a mark. Kang explains that while the staff is crafted from some pretty rare composite materials, it also holds a deadly curse inside. There is a strange life force within it. That can only be safely taken if they defeat Alice, but because she is still alive inside that ring, the curse remains active. Saint Teresa watches in horror as the captain suffers before she and Kang finally leave. Meanwhile, back at the test tower entrance in Seoul, people are questioning the department chief about whether this information is actually real or just a lie. He basically tells them they should just wait and see. while telling Agent Young to stop complaining. Right then, an affiliate of the Awakened Association decides to make their move. Using the intel they have, Agent Young points out that experts believe this mess will take at least 3 weeks to clear up. But the chief is worried about the stalker and has a really bad feeling. Suddenly, a massive system alert goes off. The Hall of the Depraved is cleared. This news leaves the chief completely speechless. Right after that, the tired warriors of the Balsk Guild begin walking out of the ruins. Everyone starts cheering for their victory, bombarding them with endless questions. Eager reporters ask who the actual star of this raid was, assuming it was their captain. But then, Jinhyuk walks out looking bald, missing his eyebrows and eyelashes, with a totally defeated look. The reporters take one look at these broken fighters and ask what happened. Get ready, because St. Teresa is about to drop a massive truth bomb. She tells them it was not Song Chunhwa who cleared the place, nor the Zion Guild. Instead, a single masked warrior conquered the entire dungeon alone. Everyone else, she explains, was just there to watch his insane performance. Back at the office, a female official realizes they need to act. They must contact the association right now, because without that masked player, almost nobody would have made it out of that death trap alive. Soon, the entire internet is buzzing with wild theories about his identity. Articles about the mysterious masked hunter start blowing up everywhere. Reading them, our hero laughs at how much useless filler they contain. Since these writers actually know zero facts, they just make stuff up. The massive internet hype proves that hiding his face was the right call. Since Teresa is the only living person who knows his secret identity, and she swore to keep quiet, he really has nothing to worry about. Now that this is sorted, it is finally time to confront the vampire. Locked inside the ring, Jinso immediately starts screaming at him for trapping her. She furiously demands to know if he has any idea who she is. She snaps, asking what he wants, but suddenly gets dizzy as he spins the ring. He asks if she feels better now, but she just glares back angrily. She retorts that he would feel the exact same way in her shoes. But feeling pretty shaken up, she quickly adds that vampires forgive easily. She tells him to relax his face, but our hero completely ignores her. Jinhyuk keeps spinning the ring, promising her a very fitting punishment. Alice begins to cry, begging him to stop as the constant motion makes her sick. He activates his vampiric separator skill and starts spinning her ring. The insane rotation speed leaves the poor vampire completely disoriented for 3 hours. When he finally picks up the ring again, Alice is still miserable. He channels his own magical power straight into Bram's ancient ring. With a sudden surge of energy, the vampire is finally materialized. She grins. The time for her vengeance has come, she declares, ready to return the humiliation. But her excitement instantly fades upon seeing her new, tiny body. Jinhyuk only materialized a tiny, sealed portion of her. Now she is just a tiny, miniature version of herself. She cannot even access 1% of her true, devastating power. Yet she remains stronger than regular vampires. Jinhyuk tells her to listen. He assures her his promise in the ruins was no lie, but Alice immediately retorts. She snaps back that she never wanted this pathetic excuse for freedom. He clarifies that real freedom is still on the table if she cooperates. Wiping her tears, she looks up with hope and asks what he means. He offers a deal: help him eliminate her betrayers, and he will restore her. She will reclaim her spot as leader of the Adorexia family. And here is where things get absolutely wild. His raid video hits the web. Originally, everyone expected complete and total failure. The mysterious masked player turned the entire world upside down. Viewers flooded the comments, confessing how insanely intense the footage was. Even knowing the outcome, their hearts were pounding the entire time. They were completely blown away by how he burned the vampires to ashes. Many quickly recognized him as the star from the Swamp of Greed video. If the legendary saint of Amsterdam respects him, everyone else should bow down. Everyone figured that after his legendary display, every top guild would beg to recruit him. Meanwhile, Jinhyuk heard guilds were swimming in cash. Standing before their towering headquarters, he realized it was true. He did not care if a major guild monopolized the entire fantasy city. But daring to try and assassinate him, that was a massive mistake. For the foolish people who crossed him, only pure destruction awaits. Stepping inside the building, Jinhyuk immediately locks eyes with the guards. He instantly conjures his fire magic and unleashes a massive blast. Meanwhile, up on the building's rooftop, the guild leader is absolutely furious. He screams that his orders were to quietly eliminate Jinhyuk in the ruins. But all Park Hajin did was wake up the guardians and trigger total chaos. Their guild's reputation is completely ruined, and their secrets are leaking. This raging guild leader is Jinhyuk, boss of the Black Raven Guild. He violently strikes Park, just as massive flames suddenly blast open the room. Guards are thrown aside like ragdolls as Jinhyuk stands calmly at the doorway. He casually asks if this man is the leader of the guild. Terrified, Jinhyuk screams at his guards to take him down immediately. Park Hajin sees this as his golden ticket to reclaim his former glory. Desperate to prove himself, the rookie Park Hajin decided to charge straight toward Kang Jinhyuk. But the moment his mask came off, the rookie recognized him and froze in place. He was met with a devastating punch that sent him flying. Meanwhile, Jinhyuk was furious. From the humiliation, swearing to make him pay before activating his swift sword skill, he quickly reached for his sheathed weapon. But Kang Jinhyuk calmly sat down in a nearby armchair instead. The leader lunged, confident he was too fast. He boasted his speed was faster than sound itself, believing victory was guaranteed. But to his absolute horror, his deadly strike failed instantly. His blade shattered, broken by a single game piece. Kang Jinhyuk calmly noted those pieces were perfect weapons for throwing. Still seated with another piece in hand, he asked if they could finally talk now. Jinhyuk asked if this was all for revenge. He couldn't believe his entire guild building was being destroyed over a single failed assassination. Suddenly, a heavy piece slammed directly into him, wounding him severely. He collapsed, utterly dazed, as Kang Jinhyuk warned him about his attitude. His past actions had simply crossed far too many lines, making the old leader beg. He begged him to think of their 50 high-ranking players currently climbing the tower. They would not let this execution slide easily. He warned that they would chase him to hell for vengeance. This endless cycle of blood would never stop. Kang Jinhyuk admitted that made sense, though such words are only for the weak. But those words only serve to disturb your sleep. He quietly picked up more chess pieces. He would take the absolute final revenge, and then they could freely forgive him. That makes absolutely no sense, the desperate leader gasped as magic flared in his hand. Absolute panic, the old man was utterly terrified as death stared him down. Kang Jinhyuk coldly noted he was just following the guild's own ruthless logic. With that, a massive barrage of deadly, magic-imbued game pieces shot forward at him. The leader was instantly eliminated. Kang Jinhyuk then turned to Park Hajin. He made it clear that the rookie only survived because of his sister. He warned him to stay far away from his path unless he wanted an early grave. Then he ordered the coward pretending to be dead to stand up. Trembling, the man stood up and introduced himself. Kim Hee-woong, 26, previously managed all of the guild's general affairs. Having a computer science degree, he pledged absolute obedience. Kang Jinhyuk was impressed. This was actually perfect. Completely destroying such a powerful, well-organized guild would be a massive waste, so he changed his mind. He decided to put Kim Hee-woong in complete charge of everything. He simply needed to maintain outward appearances to everyone. But Kim Hee-woong worried that absolutely no one would ever follow him. He knew a non-combatant leader would spark heavy resistance. However, he assured him there was no reason to worry about those who opposed his rule. Dealing with them directly was simply too much trouble for him anyway. Instead, our hero decided to let someone else handle the dirty work. Soon, all rank members received a warning. And above are told to gather on the rooftop. One hunter questions the sudden emergency meeting when everyone is so busy. After all, they were in the middle of a dungeon invasion. Still, they have no choice but to follow orders. Reluctantly, all the rank of players from the Black Crow Guild head back to base. On arrival, one of them wonders why a massive crowd is gathered outside. Then they spot their leader lying unconscious on top of a crushed car. It is obvious he was thrown from the building and is now completely out. The hunter wonders who called this emergency meeting if the leader is down. Reaching the top floor, the hunter finds Kim Hae-wong waiting inside. The secretary is preparing his magic, prompting the hunter to ask why he is in the leader's chair, preparing to strike him down. He demands to know everything that happened. Kim Hae-wong explains new visitors have arrived, then points to Alice standing right behind him. She says this is all extremely annoying, having hoped they would handle things without her needing to step in. The hunter is totally speechless, asking if that little child caused all this. Alice Terexia gets extremely annoyed at being called a kid. She glares fiercely at the rank a hunter, and suddenly a massive explosion rocks the rooftop. Kang realizes she went completely against his orders to take over the guild peacefully. Meanwhile, the association demands his test results soon. It has already been 2 months since the tower appeared, turning the world upside down, yet some are adapting to this reality calmly, while newspapers run a major story on the masked hunter. It is drawing insane hype since he cleared a high-level dungeon completely alone. Only 2 people know the truth, however, that he entered as a simple porter. One is Kim Hae-wong, the former porter leader, who swore to keep his secret. The other is Saint Teresa, who also promised to stay quiet. Now he can move freely, balancing both his masked identity and his normal self. Inside the association headquarters, all conditions are finally met. With nothing holding him back, it is time to monopolize everything, and getting his license is surprisingly easy. Even with an F rank, he runs into some old colleagues who proudly claim they have leveled up quite a bit. They even bring along others who claim to know Kang. As everyone starts talking, he decides to introduce Alice as a foreign player he met, but revealing she is a vampire would cause absolute chaos, so he keeps that detail hidden. He then introduces Kim Hae-wong, who will manage the Black Crow Guild and handle operations. Kim Hae-wong promises to help any friend of Kang, which marks the very first time he can truly introduce his allies. He feels like he is in heaven compared to before, telling them that anything they need, they can just ask him, since he is now the true guild master. They are shocked to hear he is running the Black Crow Guild. Soon, he starts arguing with Alice for blowing up the rooftop just because she was called a child. She defends herself, saying she refuses to tolerate petty insults, especially after living for thousands of years. Kang simply ignores her complaints and announces that they will start hunting together soon. To keep hunting, he will eventually need Alice's help, so she asks if there are any high-level hunting grounds left in this world. She knows that with the 3rd floor boss undefeated and the 4th floor locked away, all the best dungeons are tightly regulated by top guilds, leaving 0 unknown hunting grounds. That is common knowledge, but he alone knows the actual truth of this world. On the 1st floor of the testing tower lies the beautiful Moon Lake, a spot famous for hosting the most beautiful scenery in the entire tower. Ironically, no one actually visits this place anymore. It has been a long time since his first visit. With humanity facing total extinction, nobody has time to enjoy pretty sights. Everyone completely ignores the lake. It is a gorgeous spot, but Alice still does not Understand how he plans to hunt here. Suddenly, he just steps right into the water, making her think he will just soak his pants. He knows 12 ancient statues control this entire lake, but one of them serves a completely different purpose besides managing the water. Alice asks about a secret button, but he replies that everyone would have found it already if it were that simple. Approaching the stone, he remembers that hundreds of players have spotted this weird gap in the statue before, since it is a famous topic online. However, up until this moment, no one has ever found a physical key to fit the slot. Honestly, that is not surprising because the key is not made of metal, it is the moonlight itself. Watch closely now because our hero knows this trick and prepares to open the compartment. He uses his hands to carefully adjust the incoming light, carefully shifting the angle of the rays so they match the complex sequence engraved on the inner stone. With a click, he unlocks the mechanism. His efforts pay off as a hidden door leading down to the deep underground slowly begins to rumble open. Jinhyuk steps inside and immediately receives a system alert confirming his arrival on the first underground floor of the testing tower. Alice emerges from her ring, completely shocked that such a massive space existed right beneath their feet. It has been ages since she felt this forgotten sense of genuine freedom. Kang, acting like a true veteran, asks if she is happy about their contract. She refuses to smile, though she admits he definitely did not lie to her. Our hero activates the star's blessing to call upon divine power. The second stage of unfreezing the frozen tear begins. Right away, his magical power shoots up by 18 points, fully regenerating in just 24 hours. After absorbing the frozen tear once more, managing Alice becomes much easier. He pauses, wondering what the actual entities in this tower truly think of the players. After the system merged with reality, does Alice, who has lived for thousands of years, still believe she is trapped inside a game? Curious, he decides to ask her about it, but the system censors him completely, leaving her utterly confused. He realizes secret tower lore is totally blocked. Honestly, that is a huge clue. Just knowing he cannot discuss these things with tower natives is already highly useful information. Suddenly, Alice's sharp senses pick up a threat. Creeping through the dark, massive black claws emerge, and Kang instantly readies his fire magic. To him, this first underground floor of the tower is nothing more than a monster farming field, packed with relentless black insects. They swarm forward instantly. As the very first bug lunges at Kang, our hero unleashes a blast, turning it into ash. He just smiles at an endless wave of horrific monsters begins crawling right out of the abyss. A level 25 giant beetle emerges, startling Alice, so Jinhyuk tells her to stand back. He prepares to face them alone, activating his star's blessing skill to summon a massive beam of holy light right at the monster, triggering a blinding explosion. The beast's defenses plunge by 30%, so he tells Alice to step up and show her stuff, but the proud vampire scoffs that a noble doesn't fight filthy bugs. Jinhyuk quickly reminds her she's not a noble anymore, so she finally agrees and triggers her blood connection skill. Suddenly, a massive stream of red liquid blasts toward the beetles, trapping them inside tight capsules. Seeing this, Jinhyuk loves her attitude, immediately triggering his unique gap attribute. Since he's actually level 100, it cuts the massive level gap by 33, letting him level up incredibly fast by crushing these abyss scarabs. Honestly, Jinhyuk was getting pretty tired of keeping himself restricted at level 1 for all this time. Now, he's going to use these abyss beetles to power up, unleashing his sword tomb skill. He dives headfirst into the horde. Jinhyuk wants every single monster to swarm him, without stopping until his level skyrockets. Meanwhile, over at the massive Olympus Guild headquarters, the leader addresses the gathered crowd to finally start their crucial meeting. Patrick, speaking on behalf of the powerful Titan Guild, steps up to share that their 8th attempt to breach the 4th floor has utterly failed. Of 15 forces of 100 players each, only 9 people actually returned. He admits the third-floor boss itself wasn't the biggest threat, but they simply had no answer for its massive 100,000 stats. Tenwi, from the Jinhyuk Guild, notes that even bringing a divine artifact ended in total failure. He asks how they could ever hope to bypass those countless deadly statues. Maria from the Olympus Guild chimes in, saying their previous attempts failed too. Fast because the players hadn't grown strong enough yet, she thinks that with enough members above level 15, victory is theirs. Suddenly, Bake from the Dean Guild aggressively accuses the Jinhyuk Guild of secretly tampering with the active dungeons. He claims they are greedily monopolizing the valuable magic crystals, and Tenwi is not about to ignore Bake. Wow, talk about instant friction. They start screaming and readying for a fight before the meeting's host steps in. Demanding they both shut up and stop turning on each other, he warns them that they are only here to find actual solutions. Then he drops a bombshell, revealing they got an unexpected message from the notorious demonic humans right before dawn. They offered to help, but only if their specific demands were met, instantly. The entire room is furious at the idea of teaming up with demonic outlaws who are hunted all over the world. They absolutely despise the thought of cooperating with literal monsters, but the truth is, guild power currently dwarfs the weak government. Maintaining their massive influence while keeping a righteous image is now absolutely crucial. Because of this, the host knows the demonic humans are playing them perfectly. Suddenly, the entire room turns icy cold as thick, dark magic starts oozing from the shadows. Out of nowhere, a smirking demonic human materializes. Complaining that calling them trash really hurts their feelings, he confidently mocks them, claiming these guilds cannot achieve a single thing without their dark faction's help. Hearing this blatant disrespect, the furious guild leaders immediately prepare to strike him down. Beck screams that he is going to eliminate him, slamming a table right in his direction. Tenway smiles. For once, he and Beck actually agree on something. But the demonic human has an offer. He tells them to hear the proposal first. Joining forces would give them the exact power needed to crush the third-floor boss. Still, Beck snaps back. He points out their small faction is too tiny. Meanwhile, the dark figure clad in a black cloak and wielding a skull staff steps forward. We do not need numbers, the dark figure sneers. Then he slams his staff. Boom, his unique skill, the Black Tomb Gravedigger, activates instantly. Right outside, endless skeletal minions begin clawing their way out of the dirt. He explains that past wars left countless perfectly preserved bodies buried right beneath them. Plus, they have a demonic human with master-level knowledge of necromancy. The leader watches, stunned. He is a necromancer, yet this summon army is insanely large. It makes zero sense unless that staff of his is a powerful artifact. He wonders if that eerie staff is actually some kind of godly artifact. The necromancer smiles, confirming it is the greedy staff, forged from 99 rare materials. Wai speaks up, recognizing the famous, legendary combination of that staff and necromancy. With a setup like that, their chances for the third-floor raid are pretty high. Sure, everyone knows the demonic humans are pure evil and should be wiped out immediately. But they cannot deny that this proposed deal might actually be worth considering. If they accept the terms, it could completely change their desperate situation. Maria watches in absolute shock as even the hot-headed Beck seems to be coming around. Deep down, she knows they have their backs against the wall with no other choices left. How on earth did they end up relying on literal monsters to survive? If only Jinhyuk was here, they would never be so helpless. She is completely lost, but then a sudden notification flashes across the screen. It is an incoming call request from an external user, Kang Jinhyuk. Immediately, our hero asks if Teresa is okay and leveling up properly. Kang Jinhyuk then asks about the current situation on their end. Annoyed, the demonic human barks at the screen, demanding the caller show his face. Just watch, the feed suddenly switches to a group call, revealing a very familiar face. Jinhyuk appears on screen, and the guild leaders instantly recognize him. He is the rookie who cleared the first floor completely alone. This is the mythical powerhouse that guilds worldwide have been desperately trying to recruit. The very player they have all been searching for is standing right before them. After endless failed attempts to contact him, they can barely contain their pure excitement. Seeing his face on the screen brings a massive wave of hope to everyone. The demonic human chuckles, admitting he heard about Jinhyuk clearing those ruins. However, he warns that this boss raid is on a completely different level. Jinhyuk calmly looks at him, asking if they really have what it takes. The demon human boasts about his undead army, and the guild leaders quickly agree. But Jinhyuk cuts right through his pride with a pretty bold claim. He bluntly states that they cannot win anything using a fake staff. This unexpected accusation leaves the demonic summoner completely frozen in absolute shock. Jinhyuk reveals the staff was forged using a saint heart and holy oil. The stunned guild leader immediately asks if Jinhyuk has any real proof of this. Jinhyuk explains that the true staff of greed features a distinct red gem, placed right beneath the skull, making it impossible to forge the weapon. With materials from the first 3 floors, plus looking closely at the skeleton soldiers outside, their quality is pretty low. They would not withstand any real fight. It is completely obvious Jinhyuk concludes that he plans to abandon all the guild members just to steal their coins and items. This revelation. Furious, the demonic human snaps that Jinhyuk will regret not accepting his generous offer. He wonders if Jinhyuk will remain this arrogant. When they finally clash face to face, with that the demonic human vanishes. After dropping his final threat, right away the guild members ask what to do. Jinhyuk simply replies, "Leave it to me." He assures them they will not have to side with those demonic forces, yet they will still profit from conquering the tower. Still, they doubt if he can really pull this off alone. He calmly says he will. Even if he fails, the guild leaders realize this is a golden opportunity to recruit him. Compared to working with the monsters, this backup plan has 0 downsides, so the guild leaders do not want to let this slip away. Maria offers full support from Olympus, promising everything he needs. Next, the Titan Guild steps up to offer massive financial backing. Seeing their desperate offers, our hero tells them that they do not need to give him a single thing. He just wants them to close off the area so no other hunter can enter. Confused, a guild leader asks why he is doing all this for them. Our protagonist pauses to think up a decent excuse, declaring it is all for someone he considers a precious companion. Internally, though, his own cheesy lines give him a wave of major embarrassment. Meanwhile, Saint Teresa gets incredibly flustered and happy, thinking she is that special companion. Beck, on the other hand, reacts dramatically over this touching display of friendship. As a high-ranking representative, Beck stands speechless as Jinhyuk's words force some deep self-reflection. Suddenly, they get a system notification. The video call is actually being recorded. Normally, any sane hunter would demand massive compensation, but these powerful guild leaders fail to see the big picture here. A legendary player who rejects money for true friendship is bound to gain something far more valuable than cash. With that, the video call cuts off. Our boy Jinhyuk is already level 12 despite spending less than a single day grinding. Things are going much better than he anticipated. Suddenly, a very annoyed Alice approaches. Totally annoyed that she is doing all the heavy lifting, she yells that they have no partnership, calling it a slave contract that hurts her feelings. Jinhyuk gently reminds her he promised to buy her a mana supplement, but she snaps back that cheap supplements never work. She explains those artificial options cannot restore her massive pool, meaning she cannot back him up, so she decides she will just siphon the mana he has stored instead. Drool begins to pool on her lips. Terrified by her hungry look, Jinhyuk tells her to calm down immediately. Suddenly, she lunges and bites his neck to drink his sweet mana. She happily licks her lips, fully recharged. Right after this wild encounter, the duo decide to go shopping and open up the system store. The max-level rookie makes his. He grabs tons of gear, but Alice thinks he bought a bunch of useless junk. But he just smiles, telling her that every single item has its own purpose. As they enter a dark cave, Kangjin warns her things are about to get incredibly busy. In fact, he plans on clearing the entire first basement level before the day ends. Right then, he dives straight into a massive crater, leaving Alice questioning the sudden leap. They do not even know the depth, but our hero knows exactly how deep it is. He has made this drop over 100 times and instantly activates reverse gravity. He floats safely right before impact, and Alice calls his stunt incredibly daring. She wonders if it is skill or luck keeping him alive. Suddenly, he sparks fire. He uses level 4 fire to light a torch, confirming they are in position. Swarms of monsters emerge, but he knows these low-level insects are absolutely no match. He stands face to face with the god of death, Anubis, immediately recognizing him. Kangjin calls out the desert-roaming Egyptian god, but Anubis remains completely unfazed. The god planned to toy with this human and eliminate him on the spot. His arrogance just hastens his doom. Kangjin refuses to stand around chatting. Anubis sneers, asking if a mere mortal actually dares to fight a god. Alice warns him of the extreme danger, offering to stall while he escapes. He knew she would worry, but tells her to just sit back and watch. Stepping forward, he is ready to show his vampire partner his real power. Suddenly, Anubis activates his innate skill, the dreaded judgment of Anubis. He demands to know if the vampire told him, presenting the first question. Kangjin must answer, as this is how the trial always starts. The god always demands answers to 3 questions when challenged by mortals. To copy this skill, Kangjin must smash the vessel holding the god's mind. And more importantly, he has to completely break the god's divine patience. Once Anubis snaps, Kangjin can turn the tables with a massive question of his own. All he has to do is answer without worrying about being correct. Anubis sneers, asking how else he could have arrived if not through Alice. Once that is answered, the god immediately moves to the next query. He demands to know if their objective is the monster hive. Kangjin casually replies that the hive can be sold for a very high price. With the second trial passed, only the final question remains from the god. Anubis asks if he truly expects to escape after stepping foot into his dark territory. Our hero replies that if the god cannot defeat him, he should surrender his life. With the final question cleared, the terrifying judgment of Anubis triggers. Instantly, his attributes slash by half, and all his skills are completely sealed. The god declares he needs a physical agent, summoning his ultimate champion. A giant praying mantis appears to carry out the death sentence. This monster is chosen for the trial, and Anubis gloats about its immense power. Kangjin calmly admits the beast looks frightening, but then he reaches for something. He pulls out a mini gramophone, claiming this toy is enough to win. It plays one specific song, remaining completely indestructible until the tune ends. Anubis wonders if the boy has lost his mind, trying to play music. But our hero tells him that fine music must always be appreciated. Calling the god an old bastard, he lets the perfect melody begin. His steps align perfectly with the fast attack pattern. Just like before, he uses the music. Their efforts are futile. The god is stunned. He never imagined anyone could dodge like this. He realizes Jinhyuk planned every single detail. His penalty is expiring. At that exact moment, the countdown ends. The veteran is fully back. He can finally use his standard skills again. Now, prepare for trouble. He activates Sword Tomb. His massive weapon materializes instantly. Charging forward, he slices the mantis. The monster screams in disbelief. Did you think that would defeat a champion? I can regenerate. You are finished when my massive health pool reaches 0. Jinhyuk smiles. I cannot defeat you like this, but watch. I can easily make you wish you were never alive. Slices multiply. The relentless pain is so intense that the proud monster actually cries. The vampire princess watches in awe. He is literally playing with it. She never knew he was this strong. Her revenge is possible. Jinhyuk beats the mantis down. It falls to the floor, sobbing. Get up, Anubis commands. A proud chosen warrior does not stay down. But Jinhyuk's final blow is designed to crush its warrior honor forever. It is the ultimate insult, absolute provocation. He sits on its head. This unbelievable disrespect forces the mantis to rise one last time. The beast is filled with pure hatred, but Anubis's champion is finished. Unable to endure such deep humiliation, it takes its own life. This leaves the incomplete god shocked, while Jinhyuk scores a level up. The magical castle of the Duchy of Peltorus allows him to learn ice magic. This is the massive benefit of completely monopolizing the game's secret content. He didn't even expect to unlock this at intermediate tier levels. He activates his new Icefold skill, shocking the watching Egyptian deity. Realizing Jinhyuk is no ordinary human, Anubis asks if he uses ice. Jinhyuk scoffs. You can barely defend yourself on the 42nd floor. Anubis is deeply annoyed. As a projection of consciousness, he demands answers. Why did you even come here to fight me in the first place? I only came here for some fun, Jinhyuk replies with absolute confidence. Treating a literal god like entertainment completely enrages the ancient deity. Enraged, Anubis unleashes Ancient Hive, summoning endless waves of massive insects. Controlling the hive, Anubis commands them to destroy the insolent human. Thousands of giant wasps emerge. Jinhyuk warns that this is not enough. He uses his combined elemental magic to completely vaporize the entire swarm. Fusing his flame abilities with Icefold, he slams his hands down. The fusion succeeds. He unlocks the incredibly powerful AA rank skill. Daylight, a massive, blinding radiance, erupts from the frozen, cracked ground. The moment this divine light touches the dark insects, they burn. Half of them are instantly vaporized, while others are completely blinded. Daylight is a devastating area of effect skill that compresses and releases magic power. Anubis realizes his current strategy is useless. He must adapt immediately. He activates Chosen Target, and the hive summons an even stronger elite. Suddenly, a furious wasp emerges from the fusion, flying at high speed toward him. But Kang quickly counters, using his Icefold skill to launch sharp, freezing stakes. But they do not die, they multiply instead. His attack did absolutely nothing as more wasps emerge from the destroyed one. No matter how powerful his skills are, they seem completely useless against this swarm. Yet as the giant swarm gathers, Kang Jinhyuk just smiles. He pulls out a massive pill designed to expand any target size. It increases their size up to 10 times, and he throws it right at a wasp. A system alert warns that the giant effect will activate in 1 minute. Dodging the swarm, Kang climbs onto one of the wasps, grabbing its antenna tight. He uses it to fly around, acting as bait to herd the rest of them. Furious, the Egyptian god orders Kang's immediate destruction. Since these immortal pests keep multiplying, they should easily overwhelm him. It is an overpowered ability designed to drive any opponent to pure despair. Now the wasps clash with each other, trying to strike down our hero. It is a chaotic fight, but once they group up, he activates his unknown cube to trap them, throwing in spiderwebs and sticky glue. These 4 items combine instantly, reinforcing the prison of the unknown cube. They are completely trapped. He watches their patterns. And by calmly analyzing the chaos, he adapts his strategy. Now Kang unleashes his level 5 fire ability inside the cube. The swarm and the hive instantly catch fire inside his makeshift prison. And right at this perfect moment, the effects of the giant pill trigger. The wasps inside the cube start growing rapidly, crushing into each other. Squished and burned, they die off, dropping even more giant pills. To fight a boss commanding an endless army, he needs plenty of these pills. After all, monsters that multiply also multiply experience points and loot. For a copy machine like Anubis, this sudden turn is a total shock. The god realizes that Kang had planned this entire combination from the start. He knew exactly how to handle the hive and set a perfect trap. Knowing he was completely outsmarted by a human from the beginning infuriates the deity. Blinded by sheer anger, Anubis completely smashes his own hive. But Kang just chuckles, mockingly telling him that things are finally getting fun. Anubis is utterly humiliated that a human dares to look down on him. He warns Kang that he better survive climbing the Tower of Trials. Kang replies that he already planned on doing that, no screaming required. Anubis promises to deliver a harsh divine judgment for this endless disrespect. With that final warning, the god's vessel completely shatters. By destroying it, Kang meets the conditions to learn Anubis's judgment skill. This overrank skill allows him to ask a target 3 questions. Doing so instantly cuts the target's attributes by 50%. But it can only be used once, or he risks facing divine wrath. Now the other Egyptian gods are beginning to show interest in Kang. They make their hostile presence known. Meanwhile, our protagonist is furious at the gods. The vampire asks what happened, so he explains that he won and he has officially reached level 19, and honestly, he has never leveled up this quickly in this zone. With no idea what is next, he simply decides to allocate stats evenly. Right after that, a sudden video call rings. This completely catches him off guard now. It is Cheon Yusung. He demands to know his location. Cheon asks if there is some secret spot he knows, but Kang stays completely silent. His rival proposes a deal. A massive tournament is coming. Only rank of players and higher can enter, and Cheon is already signed up to fight. Kang finds this tournament pretty weird with the boss still undefeated. But Cheon does not care about any of that. He desperately wants him to participate. He wants to settle the score between them once and for all. Kang has absolutely zero interest in this, since Cheon does not have any skills worth copying. But Cheon has an offer that he simply cannot turn down. He possesses a ticket to the exclusive black market, which instantly catches Kang's full attention. Cheon explains this market is totally different from the normal coin shop. It operates as a secret, high-end auction house open only to VIP members with real money. Similar hidden spots are slowly popping up all over the tower. They offer incredibly rare and precious items that will be pretty useful for the boss. Since only the wealthy enter, Kang can get top-tier gear there. Not long after, his latest dungeon raid video goes absolutely viral across the entire online community. It is quickly chosen as the highlight video on a brand new channel. People go absolutely wild seeing this mysterious, masked hunter fighting right alongside the beautiful Teresa. Since they edited out the demon, the big guilds escaped backlash. Kang did not want to make enemies of the guilds anyway, and the comment section is highly supportive. Viewers love his cool attitude, wondering if he can clear the floor. Some even demand a face reveal, which is a reaction he completely expected from them. He is now a famous player, keeping everyone locked in suspense. The overall hype explodes during his next move. He boldly declared right in front of all the guilds that he would fight the boss alone. Seriously, think about it, that wild claim pushed his view count past 50 million. Remember, users can only watch once a day, making this massive view count even crazier. He receives 50,000 coins, even after the platform takes its pretty heavy cut. Despite the heavy fee, it is a fortune. Meanwhile, Kang is already getting pretty bored and wishes the tournament would just end. The fighting event features 24 elite competitors. Every single player holds a high rank of AA or even better. The big guilds threw this whole event together mainly to quiet down the angry public. It is a public display to prove these high-ranking players can actually be trusted. While it is mostly a massive show, it keeps the fans heavily entertained for now. Still, it is not a bad way to relieve some tension. Kang still accepted Cheon's invitation, but he pointed out he is not a double-a-rank player and cannot compete. Cheon then reveals a secret rule where the tournament champion actually gets two special choices. First, they can claim a divine relic straight from the National Museum collection. Second, the winner can nominate any non-competing player to force them into a match. That is exactly why Cheon wants to win, to force Kang to fight. They must ensure he defeats Kang Jinhyuk in front of everyone. Meanwhile, back in the arena, two players face off, clearly holding back to avoid seriously hurting each other. Suddenly, an Anubis is summoned, completely shocking the two combatants. The players are easily thrown around and crushed by two incredibly strong men. Association members note their power, realizing the public will feel much safer. They indeed feel safer, but Hong Deokpyo, the S-rank CEO of Black Cloud, only has eyes for a single competitor on that battlefield. He finds the swordsman's perfect tactical control and broad field of vision absolutely incredible. They scouted Cheon Yusung, offering him a prime spot in their elite guild. But he flatly refused, becoming the first person to ever decline their invite. He has incredible spirit. In fact, Hong Deokpyo finds him deeply infuriating. He can barely look at him. Meanwhile, Young Do-yun, a top-tier triple-a-rank hunter, believes Cheon Yusung has what it takes to bring rivals to their knees. Hong Deokpyo tells him to stop worrying about outside battles and focus on his own upcoming interview. Young Do-yun confidently boasts that he will easily reach S-rank within 3 years using his talent. He explains that once the public realizes they have secured such massive potential, their guild's reputation will skyrocket. Meanwhile, back on the chaotic battlefield, various hunters are desperately clashing against the summoned Anubis. Suddenly, something draws their attention, and several fighters are wiped out simultaneously. Even the old summoner and his partner are effortlessly overpowered and beat. Then the brilliant swordsman Cheon Yusung defeats everyone in one single clean, swift stroke, claiming the championship. The media is absolutely stunned by how fast he won. Shockingly, Cheon Yusung rejects his divine prize. Instead, he demands a duel with someone completely outside the tournament. The Black Cloud CEO assumes the champion will target an elite guild master. However, Cheon Yusung points his blade directly into the crowd, demanding a challenger. Young Do-yun immediately assumes he is the one chosen to fight. Hong Deokpyo sharply tells him to sit down, clarifying it is not him. Cheon Yusung is pointing to a seat much higher up in the stands. The champion loudly demands that his target stop hiding and step down. He knows exactly who he is. Young Do-yun is still utterly baffled, thinking nobody else here could possibly be worthier than himself or Hong Deokpyo. Then Kang Jinhyuk stands up and sighs. He really knows how to be annoying. With that, Cheon Yusung lowers his sword, confirming he found the right guy. The surrounding hunters immediately scramble to dig up this mysterious player's background. They soon discover his profile. He is just an F-rank player. Even challenging a triple-a-rank hunter would have launched him into stardom. Yet Cheon Yusung chose an F-rank. Hong Deokpyo watches closely, realizing the champion gains absolutely nothing from picking on the absolute weak. Kang Jinhyuk demands a promise before they even begin this duel. He insists this must be the very last time they ever challenge him. Cheon Yusung finds him incredibly arrogant for thinking he can beat the champion. Kang Jinhyuk, however, notes that the champion has grown significantly stronger. His hard training paid off, but Cheon Yusung is deeply offended. Quite the observation. After all, Young Min trained ceaselessly just to defeat Kang Jinhyuk. Young Min warns him to fight for real if he wants that black market invitation. Young Min activates his Soul Snatcher sword skill, immediately following up with another strike. It is the sword art's second strike, unleashing the blazing blue soul snatcher flames. Seeing those blue flames, Kang Jinhyuk already feels a sudden wave of deep sadness. He knows they are fated to fight again, so he prepares to go all out. Cursing his persistent stalker, Jinhyuk unleashes his own devastating fire skill at maximum level. Suddenly, a massive explosion erupts nearby as their intense battle spills from the arena. The clash causes widespread destruction. A battered Youngmin desperately questions Jinhyuk. He demands to know exactly how many skills Jinhyuk actually possesses. Immediately after, Youngmin can no longer resist and collapses unconscious to the ground. Standing victorious, Jinhyuk happily declares he will make excellent use of his prize. Jinhyuk takes the black market invitation straight from his defeated opponent's pocket. Meanwhile, stunned players in the audience chatter about a giant ice missile. They whisper that it completely shattered the ceiling with a brilliant beam of light. It makes no sense since Jinhyuk is just F-rank. Soon, he reunites with an old acquaintance. The two of them haven't met since their last encounter at the National Museum. They both quietly acknowledge just how fierce that previous battle actually was. But they agree to leave the past behind since neither wants to be enemies anymore. To prove they can get along, Gong casually asks for Lee Yuri's phone number. He tells Jinhyuk he can refuse if he wants, but only if he can handle the consequences. Our hero, Kang Jinhyuk, immediately sees right through this blatant threat. The polite request is nothing but a facade to intimidate the young woman. Suddenly, someone leaps down from the spectator stands, catching everyone off guard. This powerful newcomer lands directly in front of our main character. He acts surprised that Jinhyuk actually won despite being a lowly F-rank. Jinhyuk immediately activates his level 3 Eye of Truth, scanning the stranger. He instantly sees Yang Duyun's stats, as the man claims he didn't expect this outcome. Right then, Jinhyuk's system interface displays the requirements to copy a skill. If he uncovers Yang Duyun's true intentions, he can copy the giant's grip. Jinhyuk finds it incredibly suspicious that Yang Duyun approached him so deliberately. He wonders how the system always seems to read exactly what people are thinking. It must be something far more advanced than just a basic game program. Meanwhile, the AAA rank hunter assures him he did not come here to fight. He suggests they should work together as friendly colleagues in the same field. Hand extended, he offers to take the rookie under his wing, but Jinhyuk isn't buying it. He checks with his Eye of Truth, realizing those friendly words are total lies. Beneath Yang Duyun's fake smile, Jinhyuk senses an intense wave of pure rage. A toxic mixture of inferiority and fury. Meanwhile, reporters are already gathering. They circle around as if they had been waiting for this exact moment. Do not let that fool you, that handshake is a total trap. He intends to stealthily activate his unique skill, the power of a giant. Nearby, the smug representative of the Black Cloud Guild watches with high expectations. They plan to instantly dominate the rookie who just crushed the reigning champion. It is a glaringly obvious trap to humiliate him and steal his spotlight. He draws all the focus directly to himself, easily reading Duyun's real intentions. With those intentions exposed, the exact conditions to copy his skill are fully met. Right then, he copies the giant's grip. This ability drastically boosts his raw grip strength, letting Jinhyuk lift items 10 times his weight. Back when the tower was just a game, copying skills was almost impossible. Other players were just too rare, but now that this world is reality, any hard-earned skills can be stolen. Jinhyuk simply hoards them all while playing along with Duyun's offer. He questions Duyun's actual offer. Duyun nods, promising the solo climber a spot with special treatment. Jinhyuk plays along and asks if he will get a massive payout. Duyun smiles, telling him to just name his price, and it is settled. But Jinhyuk has a question first. He asks if the man honestly thought he could win a battle of pure strength. Duyun confidently activates his skill. Squeezing with Giant's grip at level 5, Do-Yun laughs like a sadist. Yet Jinhyuk does not flinch. Instead, he activates Anubis's judgment, leaving the high-ranking climber utterly confused. Do-Yun cannot budge him at all, suddenly dropping straight to his knees. Purple lightning crackles around Jinhyuk's hand as he mocks his opponent's struggles. He notes the giant seems surprisingly weak despite all that confidence. Jinhyuk squeezes the giant's hand harder. Do-Yun screams, begging him to stop. But Jinhyuk just drives a brutal fist right into his stomach instead. The impact launches the massive man backwards, crashing away in the dirt. "We are not friends," he mocks. Right then, a massive presence crashes down, triggering his Eye of Truth. The angry leader of the Black Cloud Guild, Deokpyo, has finally arrived. He claims he worked too hard. Jinhyuk inspects his stats, finding a level 34 berserker standing before him. To steal his unique blood demon skill, he must break Deokpyo's pride. Jinhyuk suggests they just walk away. This apparent cowardice only makes the guild master burn with greater rage. Jinhyuk clarifies that he just wants to avoid destroying guild leaders so early. Enraged, Deokpyo triggers his skill. As the enemy prepares his attack, our rookie calmly questions his sanity. He activates his level 2 daylight skill just as Deokpyo leaps skyward. A blinding flash of light erupts. Jinhyuk summons his purple dagger, stepping forward into a brutal clash. He uses 99 stat points to bridge the 33 level difference. The boss never expected such resistance. Yet Jinhyuk stands firm against the veteran who cleared the second floor. Eyes glowing blood red, the enraged guildmaster unleashes a demonic aura. He sneers, warning the boy not to make him laugh. Then, a sudden arbitration skill triggers, freezing Deokpyo dead in midair. Suddenly, an immobilizing energy sweeps over them. Kang sighs, thinking Hong should behave. Especially with the entire arena watching, he needs to show some dignity. Suddenly, Association President Han Sang-jin steps in and forces the clash to stop. Kang instantly recognizes him as the powerful man leading all of Korea's awakened. President Han Sang-jin stands before them with a deadly serious face. Hong immediately complains, saying the president arrived just in the nick of time. He claims Kang was brutally beating a hunter from his own guild. Han calmly responds that injuries are expected in a real combat tournament. He turns to Kang, formally introducing himself as the president of the association. Being straightforward, Han openly admits he knew absolutely nothing about him before. He only learned his name 20 minutes ago when an emergency call came. The tournament officials practically begged him to get down here immediately. They screamed that something completely unbelievable was unfolding right on the stage. Han immediately pulls up Kang Jinhyuk's official test results. He discovered that the rookie had completely overwhelmed his high-rank examiner. He formally congratulates Kang Jinhyuk on becoming South Korea's 16th S-ranker. The association takes full blame. They offer their sincere apologies. Instantly, every reporter in the building goes absolutely wild over the massive news. The media swarms him. Everyone is desperate to get a single quote. They literally step right over the beaten, unconscious body of the J-ranker Young. Hong is furious. This event was supposed to showcase his own guild. Instead, they are ignored. He desperately tries to salvage his pride. He grabs a passing reporter's sleeve, screaming for everyone to wait and listen. He declares his guild will conquer the third floor, but the reporter brushes him off. Meanwhile, Kang Jinhyuk is surrounded by cameras, completely dominating the spotlight. Best of all, his copy conditions are met after crushing Hong Deokpyo's pride. He successfully unlocks the Blood Demon Kai, an incredibly lethal new skill. Instantly, his face is everywhere, Korea's brand new S-rank sensation. He scrolls through comments, a wild mix of hype and jealous hate. When the association president hears that Kang Jinhyuk is heading to Las Vegas, he acts. A private luxury jet. That is exactly how S-rankers get treated. Talk about VIP treatment. No wonder everyone chases this elite status. The max-level rookie kicks back in the elite private jet heading to Nevada. He enjoys a spread of ultra-expensive gourmet food until the vampire Alice warns him. She quietly whispers for him to look at the blonde man sitting ahead of them. She warns that the aroma radiating from him is incredibly strange and unpleasant. Since a pure vampire refuses to taste his blood, he is definitely no ordinary human. Kang Jinhyuk immediately tenses up. Something is horribly wrong with this guy. If a high-tier vampire is actively repulsed, then something is seriously off here. Kang Jinhyuk quietly activates his level 3 Eyes of Truth to inspect the stranger. The system reveals the blonde target is actually a level 27 necromancer. To copy his abilities, he must reach max affinity and join their dark association. He is stunned. A literal demonic human is hiding in plain sight. It is crazy how casually this monster blends in with completely normal passengers. Suddenly, the demonic human walks past his seat, whispering that he recognizes the new S-rank. Kang knew it was absolutely no coincidence that this dangerous stranger boarded the exact same plane. Clearly, major guilds were not the only ones suddenly watching him. His rank evaluation was public. Right then, Kang spoke. He mentioned being recently reevaluated as an S-rank player. Alex smiled and said he saw the tournament coverage himself, introducing himself as Alex Judrow while handing Kang his business card. He claimed their meeting was destiny. Then he offered a drink, but the veteran had other plans, opting to play along for now. He agreed. Drinking with a hidden demonic human was risky. Alex poured his finest brandy while spinning endless stories about his successful cosmetics business and his struggles when the tower appeared. Kang silently watched him, wondering if this talkative businessman had any clue that his secret identity was already completely exposed. Alex then revealed his real Korean trip. Went far beyond simple cosmetics. He actually wanted to expand into the rapidly growing awakened business industry, but a massive problem blocked his path. He brought up the mysterious masked player. Kang played completely dumb about it. He mentioned rumors of a guy soloing the boss. Alex sighed, admitting he originally planned to raid that very third-floor boss himself. However, his entire plan fell apart specifically because of that masked newcomer. He acts selfishly under the grand excuse of protecting companions. It really sounds like you know him personally, Kang remarked with a quiet smile. Alex confirmed he did. Kang marveled at his calm lies. Then Alex proposed an alliance, asking Kang to help them defeat the boss. Kang admitted he did not quite understand the offer, since the masked player wanted to go completely alone anyway. Why would they need his help at all? Alex explained that as an S-rank, that masked guy has the full right to act independently. The major guilds are even offering him a completely private raid. Kang immediately realized their secret plan, since the boss room would face strict entry restrictions. This was their secret way to bypass the guilds and sneak inside. He questioned the extreme request. Challenging giant guilds was an incredibly risky move. Alex smiled. The tougher the job, the higher the payout. He then detailed the legendary potion, a mythical elixir that could cure everything, even fully regenerating a destroyed heart, a true miracle. This captured Kang's attention. He was highly intrigued. How did a demonic human association ever get their hands on such rarity? Holding it, he knew this item was incredibly tempting. Alex offered to hand it over right now as a down payment if Kang signed. At that moment, Kang activated Contract of the Dead. It was a level 6 skill. Alex urged him to take this rare opportunity. While it looks normal, breaking it means instant death. But Kang decided not to sign, politely declining to avoid making enemies of major guilds. He used his caution as a clever excuse to back away safely. Alex sighed. If this legendary elixir was not enough, he lost all hope. He had completely lost hope in the kid, so they agreed to scrap the deal. But even though our hero is cautious, he is also extremely greedy. If he wants something, he will steal it anyway. This thoroughly annoys Alex, who cannot comprehend the boy's plan. Suddenly, the plane starts shaking violently. Alex wonders why Jinhyuk is releasing so much mana. Is he trying to crash the flight? A sudden announcement blares. The speaker crackles, warning everyone of sudden, severe turbulence. Passengers are ordered back to their seats immediately. Jinhyuk simply heads back. Alex corners him, asking if he knew about their faction from the start. Jinhyuk calmly confirms he did. Hearing this, Judro steps in to warn him. Do not provoke them, or there will be a heavy price, but Jinhyuk retorts that it is a lie since they actually serve the unknown, humiliated at the Olympus meeting. Alex demands to know how he is close to the mysterious unknown. Alex pauses, wondering if Jinhyuk is just bluffing. Maybe the great guilds shared intel with the newly crowned S-rank. Jinhyuk offers to trade some valuable secrets if the man behaves. He bids Alex a friendly goodbye, hoping they will meet again soon. Their flight finally lands, bringing them to the neon streets of Las Vegas. City of massive casinos and glowing screens. Alice asks if this is a human city, admitting she quite likes it. Jinhyuk allowed her out as a reward for tracking the demon. Still, a mere 150 centimeters is her limit under his current mana. He uses the world's memory to merge his Eye of Truth with Blood Demon Chi. The fusion succeeds, granting him the Triple S rank Eye of Gluttony, a vastly superior version of his Eye of Truth. It allows shared vision and mind reading. However, the dark properties of the demon blood increase the risk of mental corruption if used too often. He plans to combine his main skill with a more stable spirit type ability later, but he has absolutely no choice but to activate it now. Alice excitedly asks if they are going to a casino. Jinhyuk shakes his head, explaining that they are bound for somewhere else. He cannot use high-level magic in ordinary casinos, though he could easily rob them for quick auction funds. Taking hard-earned money from innocent workers crosses a major line for him. Alice asks where they are heading. Jinhyuk promises an incomparable spot. His promise sparks her excitement. Soon, they arrive at the Tortuga betting house. Alice hates the decor. Jinhyuk quickly stops her. This is no playground. Suddenly, high-pitched screaming echoes nearby. A terrified gambler shrieks loudly, claiming he saw someone using magical skills. A guard in a suit punches him down, declaring that nobody is cheating. The victim insists multiple abilities were used. The guard asserts that only fools get deceived here. Jinhyuk quietly agrees, while Alice senses plenty of fun. She asks what makes this place so special. Jinhyuk smiles. He explains that players are fully allowed to use magic. He tells her to order whatever drinks she likes on his tab before taking a quick shot. Leaving Alice at the bar, Jinhyuk heads off to handle his main business. He plans to earn some serious foreign cash, stepping onto the floor. He instantly activates level 3 Source Seal on his selected targets. This prevents other skills from affecting the objects for 10 minutes. However, his own magic still works perfectly, unaware of the trap the casino's dealer is. Pedro is the dealer, watching every hand closely, but he is already down by 500,000 to Jinhyuk. Losing any more than that will absolutely ruin him. So he decides to end this game right now, pushing the bet way up to settle everything. But our max-level rookie fires back by going all in with his 5 million coins. He casually asks if they are okay with that much cash. This shocks everyone, but Pedro proudly claims that the house is always extremely confident. Jinhyuk then asks which guild runs this casino. Pedro reveals it is the Scavenger Guild backing this entire place. Pedro secretly gets pretty suspicious of the boy. He stayed completely silent until now, and suddenly he is asking questions as if reading his mind. Jinhyuk mockingly asks if there is a problem with him asking. Simple questions. Pedro replies that there is no issue and he can answer anything about this place, but deep down, he wonders if this kid really possesses some terrifying mind-reading ability. Finally, the dealer turns over the cards to reveal the final results. Pedro secretly activates his cheating skill with subtle gestures, confident that swapping the cards on the flip will let him get away clean. But to his absolute horror, even after using his skill, the cards remain the exact same pair of jacks. He panics, completely certain that he had successfully swapped them. Meanwhile, our hero feels incredibly relieved, having narrowly won the game with a pair of kings. He had activated his incredibly useful, newly acquired skill, Eyes of Greed, to read the dealer's mind. Instantly, Jinhyuk sweeps all the prize chips off the table, but before he can finish, someone stops him. A suited enforcer steps forward, demanding that the young man come with them. Immediately, regardless of whatever cheating skill he just pulled, another guard steps up, declaring that anyone who steals this much money is no longer a customer. The suited goons move in to drag him away to the back room, but suddenly, one of the massive thugs is sent flying backward from a devastating counterpunch. Our hero remembers the warning he received from that guy outside before walking into this place. Only fools get played here. He still hardens his gaze, completely prepared to unleash hell. Suddenly, one of the suited men pulls out a gun and fires. But Jinhyuk effortlessly dodges every bullet. He bolts straight toward the shooter, delivering a crushing blow that slams him down, knocking him out instantly. Meanwhile, Alice is sitting peacefully at the bar, while the nearby crowd gets highly hyped by the brutal brawl. She casually checks the menu and orders a sweet cocktail called Fire Kiss. Apparently, it is a drink representing passionate couples, which is incredibly silly for an ancient vampire. She takes a quiet sip, completely ignoring the chaotic violence exploding right behind her back. Meanwhile, backup is expected to arrive in 30 minutes. The management realizes things have gone horribly wrong. No matter how lawless this area is, nobody has ever triggered this level of destruction alone. Suddenly, a panicked guard rushes in with some terrifying news and pulls up a video for the casino manager. The footage playing on the screen reveals that Jinhyuk was recently registered as a powerful S-rank in Korea. The chief is absolutely petrified. After all, they only have 20 S-ranks in the entire country, and he has never faced one. He knows if Jinhyuk wanted, he could wipe out the casino in seconds. Talk about an absolute monster. Right then, a loud voice screams for everyone to freeze. The chief immediately bows and desperately apologizes for his. He begs for forgiveness, apologizing for his poor manners. He even drops to his knees. He frantically continues his apology, leaving Jinhyuk completely baffled by the dramatic display. Jinhyuk asks if his attitude only changed because he discovered his high rank. Shaking with fear, the chief stammers that it is not what he meant at all. Jinhyuk then asks if this place always makes a habit of scamming unsuspecting idiots. He demands the money he rightfully won from the games, but that is not all. He also wants $10 million as compensation for the emotional stress they caused. If they refuse, he coldly threatens to shut down their entire operation for good. Checking his status, Jinhyuk opens his account to see a fresh $10 million. This massive fortune will be more than enough to purchase the rare items he needs. Soon after, a mysterious invitation brings a suspicious car rolling right up to Jinhyuk. The driver asks if he is client 117, offering a ride to the auction. Clutching his VIP invite, Jinhyuk boards the vehicle bound for the hidden black market. The windows are heavily tinted. Outside, everything is pitch black. Since this secret auction is highly classified, they eventually arrive at a massive mansion. Jinhyuk gazes at the grand estate, feeling a surge of curiosity about what lies inside. The driver bids him farewell, wishing him an enjoyable stay at the mansion. Slipping away from the crowd, Alice softly asks if he kept his promise to her. Stepping out of her ring, she takes a deep breath of the fresh, rich air. To a noble vampire like her, this high-class environment is finally a worthy spot. She asks if they will participate, and Jinhyuk nods, keeping a low profile. After all, this place is packed with influential figures and watchful eyes. Nearby, guests whisper that they feel unusually tense despite attending every single year. High-tier items like the legendary sea beast's heart are up for grabs. All kinds of ancient relics are surfacing because of the tower's magic. The recent mana wave has brought these rare artifacts out into the light. Everyone is eager to catch a glimpse, even if they cannot afford them. Suddenly, Alice tenses up, detecting a foul, nauseating stench in the air. A strange man holding a dark staff approaches, warmly welcoming Jinhyuk to the event. He introduces himself as Julius Cedric, the master of the devious Alex Judrow. Jinhyuk immediately recognizes him as the ruthless mentor who punished his own student. That brutal beating was for stealing an elixir and failing a vital task. Jinhyuk activates his Eye of Gluttony, scanning the old man's stats. Seeing he is level 30 with massive stats, Jinhyuk plots to copy him. He spots a unique skill that would work beautifully for a necromancer. It is a coveted ability that lets a player control summons with barely any mana. But the catch is he must complete Cedric's harsh magic training first. He needs to pass with an A+ grade because the master is already furious. His disciples failed too many times. Cedric is completely done with them. Jinhyuk finds this copy condition hilarious, thinking the system has gone totally wild. To stir the pot, he decides to provoke the necromancer. Game on. He mentions getting a highly valuable item from Alex during their flight. Julius is instantly hooked, demanding details about this mysterious treasure. The trap is set, and seeing the old man bite, Jinhyuk smiles inwardly. He tells Julius that this crowded venue is not a safe place to chat. Could easily walk away to go elsewhere, but the stubborn old man blocks his path. Cedric insists that they must resolve their conflict right now. But Jinhyuk simply shoves his staff right out of the way. He simply mutters that their conflict is not his problem, completely ignoring the old man. Walking off, he absolutely infuriates Alex, who feels completely disrespected. But Cedric calmly stops his furious disciple right there. Preventing him from doing anything too rash. Alice finds them irritating and asks if she can just finish them. But Jinhyuk, wanting to avoid any trouble, quickly makes it clear that he is just here to buy some useful items. Now, auction number 175 begins. They quickly walk over and take their seats as the very first item is finally revealed. It is an Arizona meteorite. It emits powerful mana. Bidding starts at $100,000 and immediate offers fly in. Currently, no master blacksmith can refine this space ore. Since nobody knows how to utilize it, this is his perfect chance to buy it cheap. He casually places a starting bid of $300,000. This allows him to easily secure the rare meteoric iron way below its true value. But just as our hero celebrates this easy steal, a massive bid of $1 million is suddenly announced, leaving everyone at the auction completely shocked. Next, bidding for the sealed psychiatric catalog starts at $100,000. Jinhyuk quickly bids $300,000, but once again his rival Cedric steps in, bidding $1 million. Just like that, it is sold to Cedric for $1 million. Jinhyuk already knew the demon was targeting his items. He realizes this is about to become a straight-up bidding war. Next, an ancient artifact discovered in South America is presented. Hailing from the Mayans, he bids instantly. Jinhyuk bids $500,000, but Cedric instantly counters with $1 million. Jinhyuk raises it by another $500,000, but then Julius intervenes, raising the offer to $3 million. The auctioneer calls for other bids, but Jinhyuk quietly remains silent. The Mayan relic goes to Julius instead. The relentless bidding war continues for several more items. Cedric keeps snatching up several more key lots for $5 million each. The next item is presented as a highly interesting and rare piece from the past. It comes from the era of Columbus. Alex asks his master why he won't just let one go, but Cedric refuses. That Jinhyuk will not easily get what he wants, even if they suffer some heavy losses. Cedric vows to buy everything Jinhyuk desires. The demonic faction's goal is to trade these items for forbidden knowledge. The subsequent item is announced for true enthusiasts, revealed to be the very first historic chessboard. Generally, people consider the item useless, puzzled about how to use a board with absolutely no pieces. But then, Jinhyuk places an initial bid of $50,000, but the mysterious hooded man quickly raises to $100,000. Jinhyuk bids $1 million, but Cedric counters with $8 million, shouting in despair, "Is there something secret about this item we do not know, since it is now worth $8 million? Kang confidently counters with $10 million. Just then, the creepy demonic human smiles and fires back with $30 million. He mocks him, saying $10 million seems to be all Kang has left. He adds that if Kang wants this chessboard, he will have to beg, boldly declaring that absolutely no one can bid higher than $30 million. Kang realizes this old man is still carrying a massive mountain of cash. Seeing that Julius has him completely outmatched financially, he needs a new plan. The 56th item of the auction is about to sell for $30 million. But right before the hammer falls on the old man's bid, someone interferes. Alice suddenly stands up and bids a staggering $100 million. Julius Cedric is absolutely floored by this insane bid for a simple board. He wonders what is wrong with this girl, who already wasted millions. Desperate to save his plan, he counters with $110 million. But the vampire drops a bomb, bidding $200 million instead. The old man loses his mind, refusing to believe she has that cash. The auctioneer steps in, politely asking the young girl for financial proof. She casually tears open a portal, letting a mountain of gold pour out. Talk about flex, the entire crowd gasps at this unbelievable treasure pile. A single crown in her hoard is worth over $500 million. Julius is paralyzed with shock. This girl is clearly no ordinary human. But the real, terrifying shock comes next when they look at her master. This godlike being is actually acting as a loyal subordinate to Kang Jin. A rival far more dangerous than anything they expected has officially entered. Julius admits defeat on this bid, meaning they must initiate Plan B. Hearing this, Alex cannot hide his grin. He was waiting for this. Kang and Alice are officially declared the winners of the coveted chessboard. The item is delivered. She is grateful, though she finds the hype funny. She scoffs, it really does not matter anyway. She just wanted to clear out her cluttered treasury and support her contractor. Kang is deeply touched. She really knows how to say the right things. But the sweet moment is shattered as a massive explosion rocks the room. Alarm bells ring everywhere as the heavy ceiling begins crashing down. Total panic erupts. Guests stampede toward the exits to save their lives. But Alex Judrow is not letting them go. They are his raw materials. He plans to sacrifice every single soul trapped inside this building. The villain activates the mana furnace. Instantly, victims feel their heads splitting. Screams echo as they beg for help. Kang watches in absolute horror. He fumes with rage. These demonic bastards have crossed the line. Golden life force begins ripping out of the screaming crowd's bodies. Then a massive, grotesque monster manifests, greedily devouring those escaping souls. Our main man immediately realizes this is the work of that disgusting necromancer. Alex takes offense to that, calling his monsters completely adorable instead. He fully expected S-rank fighters to survive this lethal soul-drain trap. He still remembers the absolute humiliation he suffered on that fateful day. The order to eliminate Jinhyuk has already been issued. The young hero begins to levitate, his mana exploding outward. He declares he does not need to be patient anymore. Soon, the monsters rush him, but he hurls them away with his massive strength. Alex realizes he is pretty fast and asks where the vampire went. Jinhyuk replies she does not like disgusting people, so she fled alone. In reality, her physical body was just unsummoned. He needs to use his own magic now. The mono furnace is causing continuous damage, meaning dragging this fight out will be dangerous. Suddenly, the remaining two monsters charge straight at Jinhyuk. He decides to end this fight as quickly as possible and immediately strikes back. He activates his powerful sword graveyard ability, using it to slice and eliminate the beasts. The strike is incredibly effective, shredding them instantly. Alex watches in absolute shock, admitting he could not even keep up with those fast movements. The necromancer quickly prepares a magic circle, claiming he has enough materials around him to easily make a sacrifice of harvested souls. Jinhyuk immediately realizes Alex's plans to drag out the fight by doing this. The villain absorbs innocent life force to keep raising bodies, making Jinhyuk waste his mana. This is typical necromancer warfare. Alex Judro smiles sadistically. Our young hero dodges the incoming attacks and tries to advance, mockingly asking if that is all he has. Jinhyuk asserts that he will burn all these monsters before they can ever be resurrected. He uses his daylight ability, channeling massive power directly into his sword. A blinding light erupts. The necromancer gets a bit worried about this particular skill, but he already planned for it. He observed Jinhyuk closely back at the party, so he just needs to separate the summons and strike before the rays converge. But panic sets in because the monsters are completely frozen. Jinhyuk secretly casts some high-level ice magic to freeze their feet. Talk about a brilliant double play. Necromancer never noticed the ice trick because of that blinding flash of light. While Alex stands there in absolute shock over the strategy, another bright, vibrant glow flares. Jinhyuk coldly tells him to go to hell, sending a devastating wave of energy directly at the villain. Divine light pierces through the entire mansion. Alex is blasted onto the ground, utterly defeated. Every single summon has been obliterated, and Jinhyuk suddenly appears right beside him, mockingly questioning his emotional attachment to dead bodies. The desperate necromancer throws random objects, which our hero easily deflects. Alex then turns tail and runs, unable to believe he lost this battle, especially with all the advantages. As he flees toward his master, a flying sword suddenly pierces him from behind. The impact drops him face first. That is how you execute a perfect weapon throw. After creating all this chaos, Jinhyuk finds it pathetic that Judro tried to flee. He slowly steps up, promising to show him his ultimate punishment. For the next 30 minutes, your lungs will fill with blood, slowly suffocating you. This is the second most painful death after being burned alive, but of course, this brutal outcome could easily change if Alex talks. Jinhyuk holds up a glowing elixir, giving the defeated Alex a desperate spark of hope. Desperately, he wants to survive, yet he cannot make a single sound. His throat is completely blocked with thick tomato sauce, so he writes on the floor. But Jinhyuk just cold-heartedly notes he has no choice since he refuses to talk. He brutally stomps on Alex's hand, saying he won't even need that elixir anymore. He admits he never actually cared about his answers anyway, tossing back his name card. Then he hands back the card, wishing him the absolute most painful death possible. As he walks away from the scene, his eyes catch a legendary, glowing mineral. Crafted by Michelangelo himself, the object immediately grabs his attention. Combined with a dragon's heart, this material can expand his inventory to massive proportions. Without wasting any time, he merges the dragon's heart and the legendary mineral. Just watch, this combination unlocks an incredibly massive upgrade. It can now hold over 5,000 kilograms, right as the auction host arrives. He comes to thank Jinhyuk, alongside his son, who also expresses deep gratitude. He absolutely needed that item, so our hero makes a quick excuse. He did not need it anyway, or so he tells the host. The host warmly assures him it is perfectly fine, having noticed Jinhyuk before. He knows Jinhyuk saved their lives, so he could never accuse their savior. Especially since he rescued his only son, leaving our hero quite surprised by this. Honestly, it is rare to see genuine gratitude in this tower, so the host happily looks away. Grabbing the loot, Jinhyuk slips away, moving up to the tower's third floor. Here, inside the grim Cathedral of Abhorrence, a fierce battle is raging. A hunter uses a massive shield door to block a relentless barrage of arrows. An angry woman snaps, demanding to know why the security is so incredibly annoying. She asks her companion if they really have to enter like this every time. Her companion grumbles that Alex's sudden elimination is seriously irritating him. She coldly asks if she should care, pointing her deadly weapon right at him. Suddenly, a mysterious figure in a black cloak and white raven mask steps in. He sternly orders them to stop, reminding them they have been comrades for 10 years. He tells them to stop fighting and explains why he summoned them here today. A dangerous new target has joined their blacklist, a player named Jinhyuk. The woman scoffs, claiming he is probably just like any other typical high ranker. But the leader warns her not to be careless with this specific target. He warns he might be higher, but she boasts their own bosses were crazy. They easily climb to the 20th floor, and her companion completely agrees. They find the leader's cautious warnings highly exaggerated since their only goal is using the tower to escape international police surveillance on Earth. She wonders aloud why any normal person would willingly keep playing this death game. Who would do that? Only a complete lunatic, the masked man notes. Still, he firmly advises them not to let their guard down whatsoever. Do not underestimate Jinhyuk, even if you survived previous threats. He orders them both to follow and fully support Kedrick on his mission. They must ensure nothing goes wrong this time, as we shift to a gym. Two fighters are training hard, but a woman unleashes a devastatingly powerful kick. The sheer force completely tears the boy's thick protective gear right off his body. Nuna stares at the tablet as a video plays, revealing the mysterious figure who has caught his eye. It is the masked man he has been tracking. Nuna frowns, asking if he is just another star player. No way, the youth insists there is something completely different about this player. She recognizes the chilling Temple of the Trees, home of the third-floor boss. That is where the third-floor boss lives, and the young man warns it is extremely famous. Solve 3 questions, and you are rewarded with an incredibly rare item or a powerful skill. But here is the catch. His questions are ridiculously difficult. Literally impossible for anyone to get right. Stream viewers are highly skeptical. Some wonder if he can actually defeat the boss, or if he is just a fake. Fraud or real, inside, the massive tree with the face finally speaks to him. It has been ages since any human visited. Did you come to answer? Our hero does not flinch, telling the monster to send its absolute best. The giant tree grins, answer all 3, and I will give you my rarest leaf. But fail even once, and you will face a brutal, agonizing punishment. The surrounding forest of armed, walking trees will tear you completely to pieces. Ready or not, the very first question is now presented to our extremely calm main character. It demands the perfect depth and temperature for the Kelgorn species. To the viewers watching the stream, this sounds like an absolutely impossible and absurd question. They think he is doomed, but for our hero, easy. Without even pausing to think, he states the ideal depth is 175 meters. And the perfect temperature is 1.5 degrees, shocking everyone watching. Shaken by his speed, the tree demands he face the next question. It was absolutely certain he would fail, leaving the ancient monster completely frozen and speechless. Growling, the tree warns him that the next riddle will not be easy. It demands to know how to obtain the spongy body of a Felani, expecting him to fail. He explains it flawlessly. Stunned, the tree quickly presents the final challenge. Giant Eagle's mating season, our hero does not even blink. He quickly hits the red button, declaring that it happens when snow falls on the tower. Stunned to its core, the tree admits he is the first human to ever answer them all. It actually enjoyed the game. Out on the web, chat is going absolutely wild. Viewers are losing their minds. Nobody has ever beaten this quiz before. For his prize, he can choose any of the legendary leaves he wants. He chooses between red, yellow, and green, with the red ones granting destructive fire power. Yellow boosts defense, and green leaves offer a massive speed upgrade. Watching the screen, Nuno whispers that he should absolutely take the speed. He will definitely need all the speed he can get when facing the upcoming floor boss. Pure genius, but our protagonist has absolutely no interest in these basic, common options. Instead, he steps right up to the massive tree and quietly whispers a secret request. He demands the secret black leaves, freezing the ancient monster in pure shock. "How do you know about those?" the monster stammers, pleading with him to choose anything else. It desperately offers him both the red and green leaves as a combo. Our protagonist calmly reminds the beast of its explicit promise to grant any reward he wanted. "Stop stalling, hand over the black leaf, do not break your word. Unless you want to bring absolute and eternal shame to your entire forest, hand it over." Besides, he asks with a smirk, "What if I report this system bug to management?" After defeating the tree spirit, he received the black leaves as a reward. These were a AA grade item, adding a corruption effect to weapons or armor. It was the final piece of the puzzle. Now he prepared to depart. But first, he had to clear out the giant monsters lurking in this area. Reports showed that this mysterious fighter had already started the third-floor raid alone. The cultists noted this was sooner than expected, meaning they had to hurry. They only needed to hold their ground a bit longer before heading home. Some wondered why they even needed to guard this spot, since nobody would dare venture here. They were sure there was a reason, but questioning it would change nothing. Questioning further would solve nothing. Suddenly, everyone vanished. Dark portals swallowed the guards, dragging them deep underground. The demons ordered them to preserve their life force at all costs. They needed every single drop. Meanwhile, Julius Cedric cursed in frustration. That damn mysterious fighter had already started the raid without them. Meanwhile, our hero was busy tearing through monsters on the third floor. His live stream chat went wild, wondering if he would actually solo the boss. Viewers argued that they felt a sense of trust the moment they tuned in. Others remained skeptical, refusing to believe he could take down the boss alone. Our hero snapped back, "It does not matter if you believe it or not. You are all annoying, so shut up." Yet, the chat refused to believe the insult. They could not believe he was actually talking directly to them like that. But he doubled down, "If you do not want to watch, then leave." Normally, streamers would beg for views and praise to boost their numbers. But presenting a raw, unfiltered attitude would build a unique fandom instead. It would draw in people who actually loved that kind of behavior. And it worked. The viewers actually found his cold personality pretty amusing. They were not even offended by his blunt words. Talk about a loyal crowd. As our hero kept moving through the third floor, something major happened. A massive purple explosion detonated in the distance, catching his eye immediately. It made him wonder, was someone else actually here? He quickly shut down his stream, sending the chat into a complete frenzy. Nearby, a massive horde of demonic humans began attacking the floor monsters. Clad in dark cloaks, they unleashed powerful magic to wipe out the beasts. A brutal war broke out between the floor monsters and these dark cultists. Our hero watched from a distance, noting that the demons were highly organized. Their combat skills seemed much sharper compared to their past battles. Suddenly, the dark cultists began frantically warning each other about incoming enemies. Soldiers were approaching, forcing them to push their offense as hard as possible. They tried to overwhelm the beasts, but sudden long-range attacks disrupted them. Cultists were getting wiped out rapidly, forcing them to cast protective magical shields. While blocking the deadly projectiles, they desperately searched for the hidden sniper. They quickly realized it was just a single masked man throwing sharp ice shards. Seeing him alone, the enemy necromancers commanded their summons to eliminate him. Skeleton archers fired a barrage of arrows, but our hero dashed forward quickly. He dodged effortlessly, causing the stray arrows to hit the nearby monsters instead. He activates the Star's Blessing skill, launching a beam of light at the monsters. None of them can control their summons now, thanks to his divine power. They desperately try to regain control, but a massive monster suddenly crashes in. It tosses demonic humans into the air before warning Cedric of a disaster. Team 3 is completely wiped out, but Cedric can already see it happening. He does not need anyone to tell him. To guide these undead monsters, Cedric had formed 4 teams. With Team 3 gone, losing Team 1 would be fatal. The connection to control them will collapse, completely ruining his grand plan. Meanwhile, Jinhyuk charges forward, laughing that they are far too slow to catch him. Massive battle Moe statues emerge, instantly pursuing the high-level newcomer. The demonic humans panic, desperately scanning the area to find where he went. He remains completely invisible to them until he suddenly teleports right behind them. He calmly tells the terrified cultists that they have no hope of stopping him. They freeze in pure shock. Before they can even react, they are heavily crushed under the giant Moe statues. Panic spreads as Team 1 faces total destruction. This is getting wild. Cedric screams in absolute fury at his useless subordinates. He curses them for ruining his plan, then activates his next dark ability. He summons the Pyramid Guardian using his skull scepter, ignoring all their warnings. They warn him that wasting mana now will leave him empty for the boss. Enraged, he vows to destroy the protagonist with everything he has got. He commands his summoned mummies to awaken. Suddenly, his body gives out entirely. He drops to his knees, completely drained, realizing he has pushed past his limits. Summoning a nearby subordinate, he places a heavy hand on the man's shoulder. He ruthlessly drains his minion's life force to recover his energy, warning him to stay quiet. Honestly, sacrificing your own ally for power is incredibly dark. The masked protagonist watches in disgust as Cedric is completely rejuvenated, and his eyes glow crimson. He sneers at Jinhyuk, declaring their battle starts anew. With newly summoned mummies by his side, they charge at Jinhyuk with terrifying speed. Enraged, the old man boasts about his powerful, newly summoned army of mummies. He explains that these mummies can harden and manipulate their bandages like steel. These elite undead possess incredibly balanced offensive and defensive capabilities. They easily tear through the dungeon monsters using those razor-sharp bandages. Though Cedric wanted to save them for the boss, he has no regrets. Defeating Jinhyuk is worth the cost. He orders his monsters to strike. Watching from afar, the hidden duo realizes Jinhyuk is exceptionally skilled. They have not seen Cedric lose his composure like this in ages. To them, the old man is acting incredibly foolish and reckless now. He is completely failing to recognize the gap between their powers. Jinhyuk likely believes he stands a chance after defeating the simple minions. But that is a fatal mistake, as Cedric's true ability is terrifying. Since the battle has escalated, the observing duo decides to stay back. Suddenly, the explosive clash shifts, drawing dangerously close to their hiding spot. Amid the chaos, Jinhyuk recalls an old gaming memory from long ago. An old master once told him his sword was incredibly strong, but his power was unfocused. He was putting too much raw force into it, causing his strikes to disperse. The master explained that a true expert can cut anything using just a string. Just as the wind flows through the air, he must handle his sword with tenderness, releasing it at the absolute perfect moment with the right amount of force. He used a string to demonstrate this concept, asking if the boy wanted to learn the secrets of his pendulum spirit sword arts. Now, our protagonist has mastered it. He can easily replicate a portion of those sword arts during real combat, using this technique to swing his blade like a pendulum, cutting down multiple monsters. With every swing, his mastery over the skill grows, allowing him to effortlessly slaughter hordes of mummies. Cedric never expected a magic vortex to be this terrifying. Now look, this violent vacuum is powerful enough to swallow up the entire room. This massive vortex is born from the pendulum spirit style before he unleashes the fifth movement, the pendulum spirit nirvana. A massive maelstrom erupts, sending everything flying into the air, obliterating whatever it touches. Meanwhile, Cedric is forced to activate his double shield ability to survive the raging maelstrom. Cedric grows completely furious, screaming how anyone could get this strong in under 6 months since the world changed. His defensive shield begins to crack under the pressure, as he feels the raw impact of Kang Jinhyuk's magic before it shatters, completely leaving him to be swallowed by the raging pendulum spirit maelstrom. The furious magic fades, leaving the demonic human severely wounded on the cold ground. Knowing he cannot win, he plans his escape and begins screaming frantic orders for his soldiers to block the attack and protect him. The masked master sighs, noticing he acts exactly like his disciples the moment things go south. Even after all that boasting, they only try to run. Hearing this pathetic excuse, Cedric realizes this man is Julius. He tells him to say hello to his disciple, admitting he was also defeated by Kang Jinhyuk. Suddenly, the leader of the demonic humans screams in agony as he is set ablaze by Julius's magic. Julius calmly asks him to tell his disciple that he sent him along to keep him company so he won't be bored. Within moments, Cedric is completely consumed by the raging magical flames and turned to ash. Following this, the necromancer's summoned monsters begin to crumble and disintegrate across the battlefield. The remaining demonic humans are frozen in shock, realizing Cedric has fallen as they sink deep into hopeless despair. Seizing this chance, the terrifying monsters of the third floor easily slaughter them. Unleashing the pendulum spirit nirvana was an immensely exhausting task, leaving our hero heavily drained. Because of this fatigue, he swiftly buys 4 medium mana recovery potions. It would be a complete waste not to challenge the boss room. After coming this far, he commits to going all out, chugging down the mana potions. Suddenly, he spots a shield flying toward his exact location and instantly recalls using a very similar defensive tool in his past. Strapping the small shield tightly to his forearm, fragmented memories begin flooding back. He stares up at towering figures, gripping his weapons tightly. The ancient temple guardians of the 4 great heavenly kings materialize. Our protagonist readies himself to face these gargantuan beasts. As the massive stone giants strike, he smoothly deflects with his shield, dodging gracefully while muttering that these giant statues are awfully quiet. He then swings his purple sword, delivering clean, precise cuts to the stone giants, demanding they hand over the keys because he is completely tired. The guardians are startled by Kang Jin leaps forward, instantly shattering the giant stone statues. He smashes their heads, blocking their blows with his shield. He quickly recalls their attack patterns. One guardian activates the stone pagoda of illumination, the golden flower key. It unlocks the main boss room. Deep beyond the portal, an ancient deity answers the call. Kang Jin immediately realizes this foe is far more persistent. Suddenly, a massive orange lotus blooms. Dozens of golden hands burst forth, completely shattering the floor. Talk about a massive boss fight. The giant Avalokitesvara finally materializes. It has been ages since its summoning. The deity never expected a human could threaten his sacred key. Kang remains totally calm, stating this is nothing to him. He casually declares that he will eliminate this floor's boss. The ancient deity respects his bravery, but Kang Jin is simply too tired to waste time. The boss wants to talk, but our hero begins to levitate. He coldly states that he hates chatting with stone statues. The stone deity laughs, claiming every single second is a precious gift for mortal humans. It readies its weapons, warning he will regret this in death. Kang raises his shield defensively as the massive god prepares to strike him down hard. A colossal strike comes down, but the masked hero dodges with speed. Even so, his shield cracks under the sheer force of the impact. He knew the boss was strong, but this force is overwhelming. One hit could split his body in half, meaning he absolutely must hold his ground. The powerful monster is genuinely shocked that a mere human could survive its devastating sonic attack. Intrigued, the ancient entity prepares to unleash another devastating strike. Kang counters instantly by conjuring a massive ice formation. Giant ice stakes rise, successfully freezing the giant creature's attacks. The golden spear pierces right through the ice barrier, but completely misses the quick human. The statue yells in fury as Kang suddenly hurls his shield. The giant catches it easily, mockingly calling it a childish trick. Suddenly, the shield begins to glow with a corrupted red light. The giant deity remains totally unfazed, asserting that another cheap human trick will surely fail. He confidently declares that basic poison holds absolutely no real power over a divine being. Kang explains this as blood demon aura, causing continuous decaying damage. The monster dismisses it, confident a minor scratch will not stop him. Even losing a single arm is completely useless if the brave challenger hopes to defeat him. Kang simply replies that taking off arms is just the first step. In truth, he achieved his real goal and now holds a blue orb. The god realizes the arm was just a distraction for the jewel. Kangjin tells the massive beast to blame its own foolish and incredibly arrogant pride. He fuses his grimoire immediately. The two items merge in a sudden flash of blinding light. He officially obtains the S-rank Lematan of the Golden Dawn. This divine grimoire of Solomon grants him absolute, unmatched power. This fight forces him to push his magical abilities to the absolute limit. Jinhyuk triggers his Eye of Gluttony, hoping this crazy skill will do the trick. When he pulls up the status window, the giant boss has no age or level. To copy the beastly power of Avalokitesvara, he must mock the boss for 5 minutes. He also has to sculpt it using ice magic while singing a song. And yes, he needs to wear the right costume to complete the copy conditions. He thinks making a sculpture and singing a song to copy a skill is ridiculous. The system is getting crazier by the second, but he knows he can pull it off. Not one to back down, he summons a music player despite the highly eccentric terms. After all, this is his only shot to grab the rare mandala below floor 25. The thousand-armed statue stands there, completely baffled by what he is doing. Suddenly, the upbeat background music starts blasting. He begs the monster not to ask any questions. Honestly, he hates this too. To finish the look, Jinhyuk puts on a wig, making the statue extremely irritated. It hates the ridiculous circus this human is pulling in front of it. Avalokitesvara unleashes its powerful mandala, aiming directly at our hero. The beast vows to make Kang Jinhyuk suffer the pain of a million samsaras. To counter the strike, Jinhyuk unleashes his powerful glacial formation. A massive ice barrier blocks the golden statue's devastating physical attacks. Even Jinhyuk is impressed by how incredibly tough this advanced ice spell is. Meanwhile, the spectators watching the battle are completely losing their minds. This crazy masked guy put on tunes just to fight a thousand-armed monster. His ice magic is on a whole different level now, but why the wig? They wonder why he is wearing a cheap costume wig during a life-or-death battle. Challenging a massive boss right after defeating Cedric is just pure insanity. The overwhelming pressure of Avalokitesvara usually crushes anyone under the 10th floor. But this guy is holding his ground against it like an absolute legendary boss. Honestly, his absurd power level makes him feel like the real final boss here. Surviving a clash like this means he has far surpassed ordinary human limits. Nearby, a shocked woman asks her companion if they could win by teaming up. She tells her colleague Li Chao that they need an executive's help to survive. Li quickly fires back that bringing in an executive ruins everything they built. They would lose their hard-earned positions, and he refuses to let that happen. He declares that he will not fail here, deciding to use his secret coin. The woman smiles when she sees the glowing purple energy radiating from the coin. Meanwhile, Jinhyuk realizes Julius was not the only spy sent by the demonic humans. Suddenly, a brutal blow from the statue pushes our hero back in pain. The monster roars in fury because he dared to tear out its eye. It immediately activates its deadly fire element to burn Jinhyuk to ashes. Jinhyuk casually jokes about getting distracted while fixing his hair. Then, he opens his grimoire. He triggers the glacial formation, fusing ice with blazing hot fire. With the tension rising, he fires massive ice stakes right at the boss. The thousand-armed boss begins swinging its weapons, easily shattering the incoming projectiles. But our veteran protagonist refuses to stop his relentless assault. He keeps rain of ice stakes pouring down while the statue desperately blocks them. He is called a fool as the thousand-armed Avalosites Vara activates its ultimate. Inescapable domain, mockingly asking if defending himself is all he can manage. Enraged, it unleashes a massive attack and demands to know where his previous confidence went, fusing the powers of heaven and earth. Inside the grid to launch a completely unavoidable strike on our hero. To survive, Kangjin quickly summons a massive ice barrier to shield himself. Blocking the multi-directional assault, the golden statue declares his efforts are futile. Expressing deep disapproval, the statue unleashes its deadly swastika spear ability. Harnessing the power of this sacred Buddhist symbol, it hurls the spear forward. The thrust strikes home, instantly shattering his defensive ice barrier into dust. Smug and confident, the statue believes it has mortally wounded our hero. But Kangjin just scoffs, recalling the monster's claim that cheap tricks would never work twice on it. Suddenly, he emerges with glowing magic, mockingly saying that it worked beautifully before preparing his next spell. He traps the massive, thousand-armed monster inside a freezing glacial prison. He casually asks the beast why its hatred for his ice magic is so deep, wondering how a creature claiming to have achieved nirvana can be so prejudiced. He says that some aggressive shock therapy is the perfect cure for it. Right then, Kangjin begins turning the giant boss into a frozen ice sculpture. This blatant disrespect absolutely enrages the beast, making it crave endless vengeance. It screams in fury, swearing to reincarnate him as a lowly insect next time. But this extreme rage is exactly what fulfills his secret copy conditions. He successfully copies its coveted S-rank mandala skill, a highly unique ability. That lets the user infuse their own elemental magic directly into weapons. After saving the stolen skill, Kangjin casually removes his disguise. He summons the mandala himself, leaving the colossal boss frozen in absolute shock. It demands to know how a human could possibly replicate its sacred technique, which took eons of painful suffering to perfect. Remaining silent, Kangjin simply promises to put the stolen mandala to good use. He manifests a massive frozen arm, thrusting it forward at the beast. It strikes the golden boss square in the chest, causing massive damage. Within seconds, the proud statue is completely obliterated by its own stolen power. Slaying the boss instantly grants Kangjin 2 quick level-ups. Nice. He also retrieves the stone key needed to summon the third-floor guardian. He had always found this particular mini-boss to be a giant pain. Dealing with both Cedric and this monster had taken some serious effort. So to optimize his build, Kangjin dumps his earned stat points into mana. 71 to 77, he instantly feels lighter and far more energized. But he still wants more, suddenly recalling his leftover items. He still has several plague items left to consume inside this tower. The environment inside this testing tower gets pretty brutal at night. Temperatures plunge, making the local monsters far more aggressive and powerful. Most players sensibly stop hunting and head back to find safe shelter. But Kangjin just chills by a campfire, cooking a giant floor-3 shrimp. It is a rare local delicacy, but his quiet dinner is about to get crashed. Incredible flavor, he hasn't tasted anything like this in ages. Suddenly he spies people approaching. They were drawn in by the delicious smell of his food. The arriving duo explains they desperately need shelter for the rest of the night. They ask to stay with Kang. Our quiet protagonist does not respond immediately, but then kindly invites them to sit and escape the freezing cold for now. They gratefully introduce themselves as Melina and Li Chao, adding they have been through hell. Kang generously offers them some of his hot stew. Since he prepared a truly massive portion, they appreciate his kindness but say they will not eat food offered by strangers. He asks if his covered face bothers them. Lee admits it does, because he is clearly hiding something. Our hero says if they are truly bothered, he can remove his mask. The duo grows incredibly excited, eager to finally see his true face, but Kang points out that revealing it immediately is boring. He proposes a game. If they can answer his 3 questions, he will remove his mask. Lee thinks that even if they lie to answer his questions, there will be no problem. After all, there is absolutely no way for Kang to verify if they are lying. And even though they do not know what he is planning, they believe they have absolutely nothing to lose. Lee flips a coin to decide who will take the first turn in this game.